Only show where you get the truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. Good afternoon to all. We appreciate all of you coming aboard here for the National Football Show. Big Sills here. We always start the program off with Big Sills. And we are powered by our great friends at BetUS. Please make sure you check out the fabulous website. You can also go over to betus.com.pa for you to check out all the great things that they do throughout the year. Please check out the website. We appreciate all coming here every day, Monday through Friday. And then also now with our pre- and post-game show that we have with the world-famous JAKIB Sports Eagle pre- and post-game. That's every single Sunday that the Eagles have a game. Monday, Thursday, depending what their flavor is. We appreciate all coming aboard here. Super chats all go to the top. On top of that, okay, please hit the like button. First 15, we call it the Power 15. Hey, guys, you want to spread the show? This is your show. This is the last place where you can have an opportunity to talk shit to the host and tell him he's full of shit, or that we can have a debate. No one else has a debate, especially in Philadelphia. It's a one-way highway. Not here, man. It's the only place we don't block people unless you're a complete douchebag. Nobody gets blocked. Do me a favor, and it is your show. By the way, you've made this thing. You've made it. Why wouldn't you want to make it bigger? And I can't thank you enough for it, man. Hey, man, I'm a working dude just like you. First 15, Power 15, hit the like button. We appreciate you guys hitting that like button. Thank you very much. Blankenship, really? Is that the news coming out now? Is that Blankenship could be lost for 2 to 3 weeks? That is a communication guy that is essential to that secondary. If that turns out to be correct, that Reed Blankenship may have some issues over the next couple of weeks and he may miss some time. That could be a factor. But you're in the part of the schedule where you might be able to get away with that for a little bit here. So, again, guys, please hit the like button. Here we are. I mean, we're in December now. These are now championship months. You're really going to know who the teams are. Look, I wrote 4 teams down in the AFC, and I wrote 4 teams down in the NFC. Here's my Power 4, or I probably should say Power 8 football teams right now. AFC, I got Buffalo, 10-2. Kansas City at 11-1. Pittsburgh at 9-3. And I got Baltimore at 8-5. I can't think of any other teams. You might want to put the Chargers in there because of their defense. Who would have thought that the Chargers actually have a better statistic than the Eagles when it comes to points allowed? They are killing teams on defense. You know, they're so far to the West Coast, we forget that team sometimes. They've given up 188 points this year. That by far leads the NFL. 188 points in 12 games they've only surrendered. And in that conference and in that division, that's pretty good stuff. And that is because of Jim Harbaugh and his emphasis on wanting to run the football and play tight defense. They've improved mightily over there, and Derwin James is absolutely killing it. I mean, unbelievable. Just 188 total points that they've surrendered this year. A testament to their defense. All right. And over in the NFC side, Detroit, Philly, Minnesota, and Green Bay. Detroit 11-1, Philadelphia and Minnesota both 10-2, and Green Bay at 9-3. And with the remaining games in the schedule still, every one of those teams has a shot at home field advantage still. Same thing with the AFC. Maybe not so much Baltimore, but Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Buffalo all have a shot at hosting home field advantage at their respected houses. I mean, here's the deal. I would say this to you, that the NFC probably has deeper rosters. The AFC has the better quarterbacks. I mean, Detroit, Goff's good, man. No question. Philadelphia, Hurts is average. Minnesota, Sam Darnold. whatever you want to say about him. I mean, I'm no fan of that guy. And then Love. But over in the AOC, Allen, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, who's won a Super Bowl, and Lamar Jackson. That's where the quarterbacks are. And we shall see. And by the way, for the record, we're going to do something today. Hey, and just so you know, we're gonna do this here in a minute. We're going to compare the Detroit Lions, and we're going to go roster-wise. And we're going to look at the Lions versus the Eagles here in a minute. And then we'll look at what the teams have done this year. We'll do that. Brian Westbrook is going to join us, Eagle legend, at 3:30. We will have Battle Royale between Philly 500 and Mark Holmes, Dallas Cowboy Honk. That will be at 4:30. Xander's going to pop in with us at the top of the 5 o'clock Eastern time. Get in where you fit in. We're going to do that here in a minute. By the way, I submitted my NFL Coach of the Year weekly ballot. Okay? And I was flipping around and I heard Xander talking and everybody on Birds 365 talking about Nick Sirianni about Coach of the Year. How is he not Coach of the Year? How's Andy Reid not? Teams with great rosters and their coaches with expectations, they don't get love for Coach of the Year. I'm not really sure you want that. Do you want it? Kevin Stefanski's won it twice. Matt Nagy won it. Brian Daboll's won it. What's the deal? Do you know how many times Bill Belichick has won NFL Coach of the Year? I think twice. I mean, you're not going to get that. Andy Reid doesn't get consideration for Coach of the Year. Why should Nick? Okay? Why should Nick? You know, I heard the guy on from the ESPN radio show that he does this morning with Xander. He goes like this. He goes, how does Nick not get any love for it? Because the expectations were so high for the football team and for the organization. All the great coaches don't get love. They just don't. It's never been. Okay? It's never been an award where established coaches win that award. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button. And we're going to start comparing Lions versus the Eagles here in a second. Like I said, Brian Westbrook is going to join us at 3:30 Eastern time. I can't wait to hear what he says about Saquon Barkley's season and what he's having in the year that he's having, with an opportunity of potentially going past Eric Dickerson's 2105 that he set in 1984. That would be a remarkable achievement. Do I think he's going to get it? I don't. I don't, because I think there has to be a lot of factors for them to get it. I think they still have to be fighting for home field advantage until the very last game for him to get it. Because if they've wrapped it up or someone else has wrapped it up, what's the point of playing him? Just so he could break the record? That doesn't seem like a guy who's really interested in that. Okay? That doesn't seem to be. Now, that's a great point. Like Crowley just said, I never called Sirianni a great coach. I'm sorry. He's doing a lot better since the bye. But I don't really think you have to do much coaching when you're just turning around and handing the ball off. I think Vic Fangio has been a remarkable hire. I think the addition of Barkley has been sensational. I think all of that, okay, has been great. And that's an organizational thing. You know, as bad as the organization fucked it up last year with Desai and Brian Johnson, this year they've done a lot of right things. But that's the Eagles, man. They hit or miss when it comes to their assistant coaches. It's hit or miss. Okay? Do me a favor, guys. Please hit that like button. We're going to get to the differences and similarities between the Lions and the Eagles. Let's get to it now. How many people believe that the Eagles are better than the Lions? We're going to go down rosters too here. Okay? How many people believe the Eagles are better? Okay. See a lot of people here. So let's just take what they've done this year for 12 ball games. And let's just take a look at it. Eagles are better. Lions defense is disseminated. Let's take a look at that because that's not true. Lions, they are number 2 in total offense at 395 yards per game. Eagles are 4th at 377. I think anytime you're in the top 5, you're in the room. Passing, the Lions are 5th in passing at 250 yards a game. The Eagles are 28th at 188. Clearly, they're a better passing football team than the Eagles, by far. Your girl, Joy Taylor, on her show today said people like you who slander dual-threat quarterbacks and leave out their rushing statistics need to catch up on the old times, old man. Sills, get off my lawn. Well, I'll make a point to you. There has been only one quarterback with 6 rushing touchdowns to ever win a Super Bowl. One. Wrote him down. In the year that Russell Wilson won the Super Bowl, he had 1 rushing touchdown in 13. I went and looked it up. No quarterback with over 6 rushing touchdowns in the history of the NFL has ever won a Super Bowl. Ever. Ever won a Super Bowl. Now, maybe he changes the narrative. Here it is. Russell Wilson in 2013 regular season, they won the 14 Super Bowl, had 1 rushing touchdown. Steve Young in 1994 had 7 rushing touchdowns. He had 293 yards rushing, and he threw for 4,000 yards that year and 35 touchdowns. Steve Young is the only man ever in Super Bowl history with 7 or fewer rushing touchdowns to win a Super Bowl. In the 50-plus years of the game being played, the rushing touchdown never mattered for the quarterback. Ever. Except one time. So don't fucking tell me about changing the narrative. Where? No quarterback but Steve Young has won a Super Bowl with 7 or fewer touchdown rushes. Guess Josh Allen? Once again, one fucking quarterback has won a Super Bowl with 7 or fewer rushing touchdowns in the history of the league. The difference with Allen is, in Hurts, Allen carries his team. I'm not getting into that fucked up debate again. It's pointless. Like I said, Steve Young threw for 35 touchdowns that year. So when you say that, prove it to me. Sills, most of those TDs are from the 1-yard line. Should we throw the ball there? No. But stop bringing up the rushing touchdown stat to me because they're meaningless. They mean nothing when it comes to winning Super Bowls. Quarterbacks have to win from the pocket, not from rushing the ball into the end zone. No, are you not hearing me? No quarterback has ever won a Super Bowl but Steve Young, who threw for $4,000 and had 7 or fewer? Nobody. Quarterbacks win Super Bowls from the pocket. They're not dual threat. Mahomes has never in his career, in any of the Super Bowls, had massive numbers when it came to rushing. That's so fucked up. Now you're trying to say Mahomes, you're comparing Patrick fucking Mahomes to Jalen Hurts. Hurts is a bum compared to Patrick Mahomes. I'm not getting off my fucking topic here. But here, let's take a look at the rushing touchdowns in this guy's career. This is not something they want him doing. I mean, rushing touchdowns, 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, 1. Dual threat? Dual threat? Dual threat! Dual threat! Doesn't win Super Bowls. Dual threat! Hey, how about this? Sills is old school? No. I'm reality. Here. Super Bowl winners. Dude, nothing to do with crying. It's just facts. I'm not saying anything that hasn't happened. I mean, I'm not sure what you're talking about. You're making a narrative that doesn't exist. You are making a narrative that does not exist in Super Bowl play. It doesn't exist. Where does it exist? Show me where that happened. Let's see here. Mahomes, Stafford, Brady, Mahomes, Brady, Nick Foles, Brady, Manning, Brady. Russell Wilson was not dual threat. He had 1 rushing touchdown that year. They won the Super Bowl. Flacco, Eli, Rodgers, Breeze, Roethlisberger, Eli, Manning. Come on, dog. Where's your dual threat guy? And when Joyce says that, show me the facts. Mahomes is dual threat in Super Bowl games. Okay. He don't win games during the regular season. Thank you, Sydney. I appreciate that. By the way, I mean, right? Look, this is not my topic, so we're moving on. How many people believe that the Lions are not better than the Eagles? Here, the Lions are second in total offense. Missed 2 super chats. Watch the Broncos versus the Browns game. As an Eagle fan, I can clearly see that even Bo Nix has more talent as a passer than Hurts. That's not a shocker. Jameis Winston has more talent. I wouldn't take him, though. Too many turnovers and too reckless. Most Eagle fans saw that Jalen performed well in the pocket in the Super Bowl, and I assume they can think that he can duplicate it or exceed it the next time. Is that fair? Has he? Can you name me a great passing performance, Des, in the last 2 years by him that replicated that Super Bowl? Can you? Can you name me a Super Bowl? I mean, a game that he's played in the last 2 years where you went like this. Yeah, he had a great passing performance. So you're saying he could duplicate it. Has he? Or how about this one here, Des? Let's be fair. Des, has he duplicated that performance, that Super Bowl performance, in any game since? He didn't duplicate that in the Bills game. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He did not. Allen outplayed his ass in that game big time. If you're going to say that he outplayed Mahomes, Allen outplayed his ass. He had 500 yards in total offense. Don't fucking talk like that. And don't use it when you need it. Jalen had a good game against the Bengals. It does. Name me one game he's had that looked like the Super Bowl. Get this. And this is what, Dez, I'm not ripping you, Hoss. You know what Dez just said? I'll have to research it, Sills. That means it doesn't jump off the chart at you that you don't remember a game that he's played like that since. Has he played a game like that since the Super Bowl? The answer is no. Philly has better talent, but Detroit utilizes their talent better. Here, and Bob, appreciate you saying that. So let's do this. Lions are second in total offense. The Eagles are fourth. Passing, this is where they're better than Philly in offense. They're fifth. Eagles are 28th. You would think that having a top 5 passing attack, you wouldn't be that great. The Lions are fourth in rushing. The Eagles are first. So here's the difference in offense. The Eagles are 28th with a passing game, and they're first in rushing. The Lions are fifth in passing, and they're fourth in rushing. Who's got more balance? Bob. Who's had more balance this year from the beginning of the season? And by the way, this is who they are. This is what they've done. Bob, who's had more balance this year in what they do? The Lions or the Eagles on offense? It's the Lions. They can throw to win and run to win. You can't throw to win. So and by the way, the numbers don't matter. I'm talking about the balance and the trend. Scoring. The Lions are number 1 in scoring. The Eagles are 7th. So let me get this right. They're the more balanced team and they score the most. Who's got a better offense? They're the number 1 scoring offense in pro football. Number 1 in pro football in scoring. Okay? And they're 4th in passing, or 5th in passing and 4th in rushing. Allen behind Eagles would be unstoppable. Completely unstoppable. So, end of the day, this year, here's another one. Red zone. Lions are 5th. Red zone efficiency. Eagles are 13th. Third down. The Lions are 3rd. Third down effective. Eagles are 9th. Lions are better offense because they're more balanced. This is what they've done all year. They're the number 1 scoring. Hey, it's funny. All these stats matter when you're talking about your defense. The Lions are the best offense in football. They've done it all year. By the way, every game they've done it. Ravens had a historic offense and lost to us. Let's get to the defense, where you think you have the advantage. Defense. The Lions are 10th in total defense. They're a top 10 unit. The Eagles are number 1 at 282. This is their crux, but it doesn't matter against Philly. They're 25th in passing, in pass defense. That won't matter because you don't throw the ball. Lions are better offensively. Goff is better than Hurts, but fortunately, Eagles just have to be better once to beat them. True. Jalen versus Washington last season. 29 of 38, 319, 4 touchdowns. Okay. Against Washington last year? Okay. Sounds good. Thank you. So he's had 1 great game since the Super Bowl. Thanks, Prince. The Lions are 5th in rush defense. The Eagles are 7th. They got a better run defense than you. The Lions are number 2 in points allowed. The Eagles are 4th in points allowed. The Lions are number 2 in red zone defense. The Eagles are 5th. Third down, the Lions are number 1 in third down defense. The Eagles are number 2. So the advantage you think you have on the defensive side, you don't really have it. They have played a better football brand this year than you. Week in and week out. On both sides of the ball. Where you have them is in balance. You're good against the pass, and you're good against the run on defense. Okay? Where they have you on offense is in every single thing. Red zone, third down, scoring, passing, balance. Every place they have. You're not and your quarterback is not better. So, again, 12 games. Take a look at the 12 games with the Lions, too. Lions scored 42 against Seattle, a playoff contending football team. They scored, some of these here, Dallas 47, that doesn't, whatever. Okay? 52 against Tennessee, 31 against Minnesota, who Minnesota, by the way, has given up fewer points than you have. Okay? Detroit's done a nice job this year. I didn't think those defensive numbers were that good. Hurts is a winner. So's Goff. So's Jared Goff a winner. So let's do this now. Let's take a look at rosters. Okay? Let's take a look at rosters. Okay? Look at rosters. Let's see something here. I want to take a look at this. You got to remember something, too. Can you imagine this? Jared Goff has completely turned around and did something in Detroit that not even Matthew Stafford could do. He's made him a contender. He's made him a contender. Okay? Let's see. Let's go here. 20. Got to do one thing here. Yeah. Okay, good. Jared Goff's the bum. Rams moved on and won it. Yeah. And now he is with the number 1 team in the NFC. And he went to the NFC Championship game last year. Where was Stafford? I must have missed that. It's one of the very few trades that I've seen where both guys end up really benefiting. Eagles don't have to rely on the pass to win. They run the ball and play defense. Ranked number 1. Hurts has the second most rushing TDs in the NFL. Congratulations. He's a great runner. Never said he wasn't. Never said he wasn't. Here's how I look at the rosters. By the way, all supers go to the top. Please do me a favor, guys, and hit that like button. Do the Eagles or Lions have more team speed? If it's the Eagles, they might not benefit from playing us indoors on turf in Detroit. Oh, I think it totally, Lore, I think if the Eagles go inside and play inside in Detroit in the NFC title game, Eagles have by far more team speed than what Detroit has, especially on defense. I think you have more team speed than them. Yes, I do. I don't think that's going to benefit the Eagles anymore anyway if they have to go to Detroit. Now, if they have to come home and they play at home at Lincoln Financial, I think that totally is a disadvantage for the Lions having to come outside of the dome and go play at Lincoln Financial. For the Lions to get to the Super Bowl, who I picked this year, They have to host home field. And if they don't, they won't. Okay? They won't. Lions can't close games like the Eagles. Yeah, it's because not your quarterback can close them. But remember something. They have two 1,500-yard rushers. They can close games out. They're what are you talking about? They're number 3 in rushing. Don't make it sound like they don't run the ball. They do. They're number 5 in passing, and they're number 4 in rushing. You're making it sound like they don't have a running game. They have a great running game. I mean, it's a great running game. And by the way, they play in a tougher division than you. They've got Green Bay and Minnesota in that division. To some aspects, even Chicago. You have nobody in that division but Washington. The rest of them are bums. You play in one of the worst divisions in football. They play in the best. The Detroit Lions play in the best division in football. Okay? I mean, it's the best. I thought the AFC North was going to be tough. Okay? But anybody who doesn't think the NFC North is the best division in football, you're just making lies up. Okay? I mean, yeah, let me take that back. Let me see. Well, the Dolphins still have a shot. The Jets suck. New England sucks. You're right. The AFC East is probably the worst. AFC East is terrible. If Detroit is fully healthy, I have no doubt they have an edge. The injuries is what's making the difference right now. Both teams, Harv, both teams. Harv, who's going to win the NFC is going to come down to health and home field. Okay? It's going to come down to health and who gets the home field. That's how I see it. Okay? Here's Bob. Seals, do me a favor. Compare our rushing O versus rushing D. Our passing O versus passing D. Well, yeah. I mean, Bob, the rushing offense is number 1. Their rush defense is number 5. What else did you say? Their rushing offense is number 4. And your rushing defense is number 7. It's a good matchup. But here's the difference. They're number 5 in passing. They're more of a balanced offense. If Goff is going to throw 35 times in a game. If you stop the run, they're going to throw it. They're going to throw it. So let me get to the rosters. Let me get to the rosters here. By the way, not that big of an advantage when it comes to the Eagle defense versus the Lions defense. They're number 1 in defense, which is spectacular. AFC East and NFC, AFC South are worse. Well, one of those teams in the South beat you this year. Can't be that bad. Actually, 2 teams beat you from the South, didn't they? So wait a minute, Anthony. 2 teams from the AFC South beat you this year. Is that right? Anthony's trying to tell you that the AFC South is the worst, and 2 teams from the South beat them. Is that correct, Anthony? The Buccaneers and the Falcons beat you? So how fucking they be the worst when they beat you? And by the way, the Bucs beat the shit out of you. I mean, how can they be the worst when you couldn't get through 2 teams in the South? I mean, NFC South's the worst. Funny, Falcons and the Bucs beat you. Okay? Crazy. All right. Let's see here. First 4 weeks preseason. Oh, okay. Yeah, they don't count then. So that Green Bay game doesn't count. Okay, got it. Right, Anthony? The Green Bay game doesn't count. Okay, no problem. So we'll just from now on, when we talk about quality wins, outside of the Raven win and the Commander win, the Green Bay game doesn't matter, right? Is that what you're saying? No problem. I got it. So for you then, you take one of your significant wins off the board, first 4 games, you give Green Bay a bye too. Is that right? Is that what you're doing, Anthony? That Green Bay game doesn't count, that win you got, right? That doesn't matter. Right? Just checking. If it doesn't matter for the other teams, it doesn't matter for you, right? Or does it? Or help me out here. Or is it just like you're trying to take the building blocks to make your narrative sound that you are whatever? Right? You say it all the time. The season starts in November, Sills. I say all the things that you did during the regular season can all be put as you get into November, December, into a bucket and go like this. What have you done for the year? That's who you are. This is who the Eagles are. They're going to run the ball. I'm not even talking about statistics. I'm talking about identity. You run the ball. You don't throw it that much. You're not going to turn it over. That's who you are. I'm not talking about stats, really. I'm talking about what you've done for 12 games. This is who you are. You're not going to get off that. All games matter, no excuses. Yeah, you take all those games, then you start to form a narrative in who you are. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a look at the rosters. Let me go over here now, because I want to be very careful here, not to dismiss the Lions guys. Okay. How many people believe that the Eagles have a better 53-man roster than the Lions do? How many people believe? Doesn't matter. We didn't play well against Green Bay. Okay. If that's how you see it. I don't see it that way. I think they all matter. But hey, who has a better roster? The Eagles or the Lions? Bob, you seem to be a guy that we all lean on a little bit when it comes to having some impartial thoughts. Who do you think has the best roster right now on December 4th? Who would you think, Bob? Mr. International, Eagles. Who would you think? I think the Eagles do, but they're not playing up to their roster standard, and the Lions offense is more potent. But I would take the Eagle defense any day after watching them this season. They've changed a lot of people's narratives here. By the way, once again, Big Sil's proven right. You guys are fucking trying to tell me that the defensive line had high grades and they played well against the Ravens when it came to the run game. Even Jaylen Carter sucked when it came to how people looked at him, how they played against the run against the Ravens. So don't talk to me about fucking what you see and I see. I know what I saw. I saw those guys not playing well against the run. They had 5 yards a clip. I mean, you're out of your minds. They didn't play well. Nobody graded well. Nolan Smith was a casualty out there. I mean, even Jaylen Carter didn't grade well. Lamar was all over the place. I think that had a lot to do with the linebacker play in the secondary. But at the end of the day, you didn't play well against the run. Nobody with any brains thought that. Nobody. Every one of your D linemen outside of Sweat had a poor grade. Get this. Carter was dominating. Stop quoting Stat Nerd. They had 5 yards of fucking carry. What are you talking about? He got played great against the pass. He sure did. Dude, they had 5 yards of fucking carry. As a team. Holy shit. You stupid people. Any team that surrenders 5 yards of carry did not have a good night. As Vic, we hung in there. Did you hear him say that? We hung in there with their physicality and we were as physical. We hung in there. Those were his quote words. Holy shit. You don't even believe your own guy talking. Hey, you don't believe your own guy when he says it. Same thing with Jalen Hunt. We said it the other day after watching it on film. He looked decent a few times, and some of it was a train wreck. Holy shit. I'm not even talking about this, but I'm talking about how people, hey, by the way, Greg Cosell even said the Ravens were moving the ball at will. Look, I'm not debating it with people who don't know what they're watching, and you watch a completely different ball game than me. You watch a completely different game. That's a good game considered how good. That's right. That's right. Jason, they had a great game against a great team. You're not going to stop them. That's right. Get this. I'm going to show you something here. Carter was hogtied every play. Of course he didn't. How about this? Right now, he's not on the All-Pro PFF midseason. Cam Hayward, Chris Jones, and who's the other guy? And by the way, I saw the voting. And I saw the voting right now is that with the Players Association. And the Pro Bowl D-line right now is T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Chris Jones, and Myles Garrett. That's your Pro Bowl D-line, All-Pro D-line. Carter's not going to get it. You know why? Because him being held tells you why. The players aren't going to vote him. They'll probably vote him second team or third team. And he'll win it next year when Cam steps away. That's not how that works. Hey, do I think that Jaylen Carter's playing better than Cam Hayward? Maybe. Excuse me. NFC, he will. That's not all pro, son. All pro is both conferences. Okay. All right. So, here, let's take a look at the rosters. Man for man. We've showed you that they've played with great balance, the Lions. By the way, I want to do this. Do you guys know what we're doing here? This is not a rip. We're talking about two of the best rosters in all of football. Do you understand that? This is not to dismiss the Eagle roster. Okay? So if you think that's what this is, that's not what this is. We are looking at two teams that are fighting to win the NFC. To me, it's a merit badge. I didn't think they'd be this far along defensively. I get it. You mean my delivery's like Vicks? Right? Blunt and to the point. Okay? Right? These are the two best rosters in the NFC. Carter can pad his stats against some bum teams. Why would you play him? I'm going to need him against Pittsburgh and Washington in the divisional round of the playoffs. Do I need him against Carolina? Okay. Actually, get this. Once again, I will make the point. You guys were saying this last year when you were 10-2. I was wrong all year. 2 years in a row, you've been saying it. Why don't you hang in there a little bit? You said I was 1,000% wrong last year at 10-1. 1,000% wrong. My own network was saying the same shit they're saying right now. The same shit. Same stuff. Verbatim almost. Verbatim. And I kept hanging in there because I know what I see. Are you better? I think so, yeah. Is there a better energy? Yeah. Is there better coaches? Yeah. Do I think there'll be a meltdown? No. Had to come along faster? Yeah. But you haven't won dick yet. Nor has anyone. Nor has anyone. You're damn right I said 9 fucking wins. I didn't think your defense was, I just fucking said that. And by the way, dude, if I could predict that, I wouldn't be talking to you. I'd be on an island with a beard where no one could ever find me again. Okay? All right. So let's go down the roster here. Let's start with the offense. Jared Goff versus Hurts. Well, I'll take Goff. Having a better year. Nowhere, anywhere, is Jalen Hurts having a better year than Jared Goff. Nowhere. Running back. Barkley versus Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm going Barkley. Okay? I'm going Barkley. Okay? Jared Goff's season. 4,300 passing yards, 33 touchdown passes. This is what he's trending to. 109 rating, 72% completion percentage. Down in attempts is why that percentage is up. He's having a fucking amazing year. His rating is higher, his completion percentage is higher, his touchdowns are higher, and his passing yards are superior. He's going to throw for a full 1,000 yards more and probably 13 more TDs than their guy. Tell you this, on the running backs, can't put both. But I'm Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs and Barkley. Let's take a look at that with the Lions. Gibbs, he's not even the starter. He's trending to 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. And the other guy, Montgomery, is trending 1,100 yards and 16 touchdowns. Who do you think has a better running game? You're going to get 30 touchdowns from two backs, and you're going to get 16 from one. Who has a better running game? So in theory, let's do this. Say Barkley goes and gets to 2,105. Jahmyr's 1,500, the other guy's 1,100. That's 2,630 touchdowns. How in the world do you have a better running attack than Detroit? When they got two guys that are going to get almost $3,000 and 30 TDs. You got one guy. Now, wait a minute. Let's add Hurts into this. 615 touchdowns and 16. That's 31-2. All right. I think that's fair. Put Hurts in that. That makes it closer. Who has a better running attack? I think that's a push. Okay? I think that's a push. Both guys are going to be near 30 touchdowns. Both teams is going to be near 30 touchdowns. No, you have to add Hurts into this. If we're talking running attack, okay? And by the way, you don't have the advantage. I don't know in the O-line yet. We'll get there. So I'm going to say a push in the running game. We'll go push here. Barkley, though, is just electric. So if I had to lean, I'm leaning to Barkley. Wide receiver, A.J. Brown. Ahmad St. Brown. I'm going A.J. See what Jameson Williams is doing this year compared to Devontae. See where he is and what kind of impact that he's having on that Lions team this year and what he's done. Jameson Williams and what he's done this season. So he's roughly going to get around 900 yards, 6 TDs, about 50 catches. Okay, I would say I'm going to take Devontae because I just think he's a better player. Okay? And I'm going to say this. Eagles better not take an L because if they take an L in the playoffs, Sills is going to have a field day in the offseason. Flexing. Let's see what they do. You guys are convinced they can win with one style of ball. Now, I don't even know who the fuck this guy Tim Patrick is. I have no idea who he is. This is the number 3 wideout. I'm sure he's better than anything Philly has. Okay? The Dotson guy stinks. So this guy, let's just go push. They both Dotson and this guy Patrick. That's a push. Okay? So right now, A.J. Brown and Devontae have the advantage over Ahmad St. Brown and Jameson Williams. 2-3 guys, who cares? Both of them are going to get about 500 yards. I don't even think Dotson gets 500 yards. I'm not convinced on shit. I hear you. This guy goes here. Tim Patrick won't have 3 catches, nor will Dotson. The tight end is superior to anything you have in Philly and Detroit. He's superior to anything you have. Sam Laporta's a better ball player. And right now, he's going to have around 50 catches for 600 yards and 7 touchdowns. Tight end advantage goes to Detroit. Now let's get to the D-line or the O-line. Taylor Decker versus Jordan Mailata. This kid Decker's had a fucking great year. You know, he's the highest rated left tackle in football. I'm still going to go Mailata. I just think he's a better ball player. Even though the kid Decker's had a fucking great year. Okay? And for my personal takes, I like Jordan Mailata better. Graham Glasgow having a sensational season too. I'm going to take the kid Glasgow over Dickerson. Ragnow over Juergens. That's not a question. I'm going to take Becton over Zettler. I think Micaiah Becton has had a phenomenal season. And Penei Sewell is the best offensive tackle in pro football. So in theory, if you really want to debate the left guard position, Detroit has a better O-line. They're going to have two 1,000-yard backs over 1,300 yards. Two of them. But by the way, these are the two best lines. And you want to know how razor thin? If you went like this, Sills, give me the Eagle line. I'll be like, fine, I'll take the other one. Sills, give me the Lion line. Give me the Eagle line. I love the Eagle line, for the record. Okay, I do. But what they've done this year, they've balanced it out better because, again, the quarterback helps too. Because the quarterback has been setting protections his entire career, and he knows what he's doing. Whereas your guy, this is the first year in 12 years he's ever set protections. So he actually knows what he's doing. Okay? The quarterback is more experienced at knowing what to do as a quarterback in this league than what Hurts does. Hurts said it. Everyone said it. He's got more responsibilities this year. Well, Goff has been doing that his entire career. From the time he was at Cal through his entire NFL career, he's been setting protections. Okay? Yeah, by the way, that's because Goddard's going to miss more time. That's why. Hey, Penei Sewell's they have the best O-lineman in football. Hey, Flexen, you can't convince. He thinks that Goddard's better than Laporta, and I don't believe that. Now let's go to the defense. So let's see this. Add it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a push. Both offenses have advantages and disadvantages. Yeah, I'd also like to say that I'm not convinced we can win a Super Bowl or even win a playoff game by just running the ball. Yeah, but here's one thing to Xander's point and everyone else's. Hey, Sills, everyone keeps saying they can't do it, but every week they line up and they're doing it. Until someone stops that, and until someone stops, dude, the moment they stop the run game, it's over. Detroit, you can stop the running game, and they'll still beat you with the passing game. And some of you are going, well, wait a minute here, Sills. Then they'll automatically turn it on. Okay. Well, you haven't turned it on at all this year. But you're going to turn it on, I guess, when you need it, right? You're going to flip a switch where you haven't had any consistency in the passing game at all this year. But you're just going to flip a switch, and that thing's going to improve. Remember something. Your offensive passing game has not improved. Barkley improved the offense. That's all that's improved. The quarterback is not turning it over because the quarterback's not being asked to do anything. And I mean by this, a lot of things, I should say. Has he made plays on third down? Yes. Has he been effective on third down? Yes, but that offense doesn't run through him. That offense does not run through him. That offense in Detroit runs through Goff. Kansas City, Buffalo, Green Bay. It all runs through those quarterbacks. It does not. You take Barkley off that team, you don't win any games. How about, get this? Hey, Bob, you answer this for me, Bob, because they won't answer it correctly. Hey, Bob, how many wins if Barkley's not on that team and you have Kenny Gainwell or DeAndre Swift? How many wins do you think the Eagles have this year? How many wins? How many wins? 7? 6? How many wins? Your quarterback hasn't done shit. I mean, that offense goes through the running back. Okay. Let's get to the defense. This is going to be a little bit interesting here because a lot of us don't really know. Now, it's going to be more difficult because Detroit plays a 43. Okay? They play a 43. You play a conventional 34, but it's not really because they play a lot of 5 front and they're a lot in nickel. Okay? So let's here. Let's take a look at this one here. Let's go Zadarius Smith, Milton Williams. Let's see what Ladarius has done this season. Since he came over from Cleveland, I think it was. He came over from Cleveland. If I'm not mistaken, he's got 2 sacks since he's projected to have 10 sacks this year. Okay? So he's going to have 10 sacks. And he's lined up at the left defensive end. Milton Williams, what's Milton lined up to be? What's Milton's numbers? Where he has right now and what he's trending. That kid Smith, I'd like to have had him. And by the way, I think Milton's had a really good year. Milton's projected to get 7. Who would I take? I'll give it to Milton. I think Milton's had a better year. I think he's had a better year. I'll take Milton there. Bob Sills, not only does the O go through the running back, the running game also allows us to win all the time of possessions, keeping the defense fresh. No Barkley, the D would be gassed. We win 6 to 7 games. Correct. That's what happened last year, Bob, when your running game fell off the cliff. Your defense got gassed, and it was a massive collapse. Absolutely. McNeil for the Lions has been pretty good this year. They've really done a nice job inside and stopping the run. I mean, they're 4th in run defense right now. And he's had a really good year. He's a defensive tackle. Alim McNeil, he's on pace this year for, as an interior defensive tackle, for 6 sacks. And Jordan Davis, I'll take McNeil. Jaylen Carter over Reader. And I think Reader's a really good ball player. Teams are starting to stack the box because they don't fear Hurts. I would rather run to triple option because Hurts is not throwing the ball. Look, they're 10-2 doing it one way. And you're not going to convince the people in Philly, especially certain media people, that they can't win a Super Bowl, even though history doesn't really say they can. But they're going to try to say to you that, well, it's a new wave. Like, hey, I love joy. Prove that to me. And by the way, do I think it's going to happen? Yeah. Josh Allen, Lamar, maybe Hurts, Jaden Daniels, all them guys. They're guys that run the ball. And they're saying it's new wave. Well, until the drop back quarterback doesn't win consecutive Super Bowls, until the quarterback doesn't win, dude, Mahomes wins from the pocket. He doesn't win in the perimeter. He wins from the pocket. Andy Reid is a pocket coordinator. Mahomes is so gifted he can pull out an RPO when he has to and run it. Do you really want to put Patrick Mahomes in an RPO? What a waste of talent. What a waste of arm talent that would be. Mahomes runs when needed. That's exactly right, Flexen. Fifth quarter in the Super Bowl. They needed that 65 yards of rushing. That was the difference in the game, was when he pulled it out. They're not going to have him run for 65 yards versus the fucking Raiders. That's not going to happen. By the way, Brian Westbrook is going to join us at 3:30 Eastern time. Nolan Smith versus Pascal. This kid's had a pretty decent season, but not, I mean, we're looking at 3 sacks. They're kind of a push there. So those two dudes, Smith and him. Zach Bond. Let's take a look. Zach Bond's played great ball. There's nobody, I don't know where you can go. Zach Bond gets that over Nowaski for sure. Jack Campbell versus Nakobe. Jack Campbell right now is on pace for 130 tackles. He's the Mike linebacker in that defense. Nakobe's played well, but I'll take Jack. Turner. Sweat. Josh has had a great year. Carlton Davis. Left corner. On pace for 72 tackles and 5 picks. Does Milton Williams have a pick yet? It's too late to bring in passing quarterback. Dude, please. Nolan Smith has 4.5 sacks. Okay. I don't think he's a better player. Does Q have any interceptions yet? Still taking Q. By the way, I'm clearly taking Brian Branch over CJ. I don't believe that's even a question. I don't even believe that's a question. Brian Branch over CJ, no question. Kirby over Reed. Let's see. I might take Reed here. Kirby Joseph, safety. 80 tackles. Reed's had a really good year. Teron Arnold right now. You guys have been telling me that he's had a shitty year. Well, Teron Arnold right now is 5th in tackles. And right now, he's on pace right now for 62 tackles, which would be more than what Q is. And by the way, their pass defense is a problem. Their run defense is better. That's where Q gets the nod, definitely. Their secondary's better. You mean your secondary's better? Your secondary's better. And I would say this. Their front, outside of Jaylen Carter, Carter probably tilts it. Your defense is probably better. It is. Not by a lot, though. Their offense is really good. This could be quite a game. And again, this is going to come down to health. Okay? Yeah, I'll probably say Jamal Adams over Reed. Jamal Adams? No. No. Let me... Jamal Adams is a stiff. He's finished. He's Jamal Adams, please. He was good 5 years ago. Okay? We got to do this shit for content. Only dumbass thinks Lions have a chance against Don Fazio and the Capos. Hey, Akbar, whatever you fucking want to do, whatever you want to do, this is called sports talk, reality talk. You don't like it, don't fucking listen. This is not a military draft. I look at teams, unlike you do, I have no affiliation to the Eagles. I tell you this all the time. I love the fans. So I am as impartial as you will ever find covering your team without a guy telling you and lying to you that I love your team. I don't give a fuck. I love football. Come on. You can't do that. We are discussing. I'm not. I'm discussing talented players. I'm looking at a fucking roster, and I'm saying what player I think is better. That's not stats, dude. Who's a better fucking player? Laporte or Goddard? Laporte. Who's better? Ragnow or Jurgens? Ragnow. Who's better? Penei Sewell or Lane? Penei Sewell. That's not a fucking stat. That's not a stat. That's reality. What I love here is that you guys will take whatever fucking numbers to fit a narrative saying, look at what we've done. Xander gave me some shit. In the last 8 games, there was some stat. Oh, fuck, that's okay. It works there, right? But when I bring up the entire year of what the Lions have done, that's stat watching. Well, what the fuck are you doing? And by the way, your entire organization is built off of analytics. They tell you that. Analytics are stats. Are you telling me that the reason the Eagles are 10-2 is because of how they look at the analytics? So now you're contradicting even what they do. Holy shit, you are dumb. It boggles the mind on how you look and pick and slice certain things, but don't fucking look at the entirety of the year. I got a guy in here telling me the first 4 games don't matter. They all matter when it comes to home field advantage. Your play calling, how about this? You want to hear something? Why don't you bitch and complain about the analytics in the first 25 plays? That's analytics. It fails. It fails. Are those first 25 plays not analytics? They spend all fucking week on it. First and foremost, fuck you. Don't tell me what to do, douchebag. Fucking talk to me like that. You don't know me from a can of paint. Fucking talk to me like that. Your entire organization is based on that. Angry? No, Dave. Frustrated with ignorance. Angry? Once again, Dave, I don't get angry at people I don't know. Angry? Wrong dude, guy. Says, why are teams allowed to hold Carter so much and no calls? Sam, he's a young player. That's why. And by the way, everyone like Prince that comes in here each and every single day, we love him. I don't want him to think that. And I do. I mean that. Okay? What was that guy? I'm 6. I don't give a fuck if you're 10-4. Angry? But once again, dude, that shows me. He goes like this. Sil's angry? Huss, you don't know me. You've never seen me angry. You've never seen me angry. Angry? I'm not angry. Angry? Why would I get angry over sports talk? Angry? Says you're snapping like this is why the show's top notch. Matt, thank you. Hey, Matt. No, hey, it's called passion, Matt. Okay? It's called passion. Lions have the edge at quarterback. Hell, I'll probably take Hendon Hooker over Jalen Alexander Hurts. The fruitcakes in chat would say otherwise. By the way, Brian Westbrook is going to join us. Hey, by the way, how many wins did you guys have last year in a row? I saw Xander post some bullshit again. 10-1. 8 straight. All right. Right into my grips again. This is history repeating itself. This is fucking great. Right into my grips. Your quarterback's not good enough to win a Super Bowl. But seriously, played great. I know he did. He won't play 3 in a row to do it. He doesn't have to because we're going to run the ball. I know. I got it. Everyone's under the assumption, Brian, that the offense got better. Barkley made it better. The quarterback didn't. The quarterback didn't make it. How many people think Jalen Hurts made that? Then was Nick overselling that dumb shit again today? You should see Jalen, he's setting the protections, and I was like, he's making it really easy for Barkley. Okay, well, that's his job. It will come down to coaching. I'll take the Lions offensive coordinator over Kellen Moore any day. After 20 years, they've come back to life. 20 years? It's more like 54 years. By the way, I turned my ballot in for NFL Coach of the Year. We do it weekly for the NFL honors. When you're an alumni guy, you get a vote. By the way, Brian Westbrook's going to join us here in a couple minutes. Here's my 10. I got Andy Reid at 10, Kansas City. He's going and doing something historic. That's trying to get a three-peat. Number 9, Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills. Guys doing a great job. By the way, their defense is killing it. I didn't realize how good they were on defense up there. Number 8, Jonathan Gannon, Arizona. Cardinals are who and where? Number 7, Matt LaFleur, Green Bay. Heck of a play-calling head coach. Number 6, football team hasn't been good, James Jones, since 1997. Dan Quinn, Washington Commanders. Number 5, guys taking a rookie quarterback, Bo Nix. Denver looks pretty decent, man. I got him at number 5. Number 4, do you know who has the most point differential on defense this year? It's the LA Chargers. Jim Harbaugh has changed the narrative for the Chargers. I got him at 4. Number 3, Kevin O'Connell has won 10 games with Sam Darnold. Really? Sam Darnold has won 10 games this year? That guy is fired from 3 teams. And he's won 10 games? Number 2, I got Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, fantastic. I mean, dude, Mike Tomlin, 18 straight years of winning football. My only problem with that comment is I didn't know that winning streaks like the Eagles go at and Xander posts, I didn't know that that was the benchmark in Pittsburgh. I thought Lombardi trophies were. Mike hasn't won a playoff game in 9 years. Okay? I mean, as much as I love the guy and I'd want to play for the guy, he hasn't won a playoff game in 9 years. And number 1, guy's done a great job at just transforming Detroit into being a contender and now the number 1 team in the NFC. That is Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell was a guy that nobody wanted to hire and thought he was all goofy when he did the chopping at the knees and this and that. And Dan's done a hell of a job. By the way, you know what I love about what that guy did? Did you hear what he told his players too? So here, Reed 10, McDermott 9, Gannon 8, Matt LaFleur 7, Dan Quinn 6, Sean Payton 5, Jim Harbaugh 4, Kevin O'Connell 3, Mike Tomlin 2, Dan Campbell 1. Did you see what he said about Caleb Williams? He says, if that dude decides to turn it up, I want you guys to blast that guy. Don't not hit him. He has a propensity sometimes to turn it up, and nobody hits him. Hit him. I love that mentality. I just love that mentality where you have a guy there. And by the way, one more thing on that list. Think of this too. Detroit, horrible franchise forever. Minnesota, haven't done anything in 40 years. The Chargers, been in 1 Super Bowl. They're terrible. Denver, good franchise, but then again, this isn't Pat Bowlen's team. Washington, ever and ever was a train wreck under Daniel Snyder. Green Bay, always a good franchise. There's one of the true great franchises. Gannon, Arizona, the Bidwells. Who wins in Arizona? All shitty franchises. Shark, Nick Sirianni, Coach of the Year. He'll never in a million years see any votes inside the top 5. Nobody respects him. That's not me saying it. Nobody respects the guy. The only people that respect him are people in Philly. That's fine. But football people, they don't. Okay. You do. All clickbait? Guy, nobody has anywhere near Nick Sirianni as Coach of the Year. Tyler, what's funny is, if you think it's clickbait, why do you come here? I don't get that. I don't do anything for that. Holy shit. So what did you call it when I was on the radio for 30 years? Radio bait? What did you call it then? I did radio for 30 years. Same way. What are you talking about? Dude, I don't write shit down to play a role. That's not what I do. It's called call bait. You mean like WIP does, where you have to only call in with good takes and agree with the host because they screen the callers. You know, they got call screeners. Do you know who screens my chat room? No one. No one. So if you disagree with me, no. 35-year career. Not 30 years. 35. Yeah, I have sucked for 35 years. Yeah. Dude, here's the point. And let me close this topic up, the differences between Detroit and Philly, without all of you moaning and crying and just absolutely getting so offended. These are the two best rosters in the NFC. That includes Green Bay. These are the two best. You've proven it. Okay? It's going to come down to health and home field advantage on who wins the NFC. One catastrophic injury could end both of them. You lose one of those running backs in Detroit, or Jack Campbell, or a Brian Branch, or a A.J. Brown, or a Barkley, it's over. It's over. That's the league. No one respects him? You mean no one likes? Look at his numbers. So, once again, Shark tries to tell you that the numbers are what makes respect. No. Are you trying to tell me you have more respect for Nick Sirianni because he has a higher win percentage than Dick Vermeil? Is that what you're saying? Or are you trying to tell me that because Nick Sirianni has a higher win percentage than Andy Reid, you have more respect for Andy Reid? I mean, more respect for Nick? Let's go down the list. You mean to tell me you have more respect for Nick Sirianni than you do Bill Parcells, who has a 526 win percentage? Is that what you're telling me? No, it's not all about winning. It's all about winning the championships. It's not just about winning. Or guess what? You would be Marty Schottenheimer. You know, I'm going to show you this. Marty Schottenheimer. Marty Schottenheimer. All-time wins list. And here's your Nick Sirianni conversation. We'll do that in a bit here. Guys, I want to tell you this, man. I had a great conversation with Eric Dickerson. We were talking with Jackie Slater a couple of weeks ago. I think it was a week ago that we were talking with Jackie Slater. And Jackie Slater, without a doubt, was talking about Eric Dickerson in the first 2 years of rushing, what Dickerson did in his first 2 seasons. I've told you guys this. I played against Eric. I played against Eric when Eric Dickerson was, when he was with the Colts. Still a fabulous running back. Just a really great running back. Okay? See what Xander's saying here. Let me try and help him with the camera. 1 second. Okay, they're working on getting Brian Westbrook up right now. So hopefully we can connect here in a second here and get him hooked up here with us. See if we can get him here hooked up. I'll tell you this. I was talking with Jackie Slater last week. You guys know he was on with us. By the way, Super Chats will be read here at the end of this segment. And then I had a chance to get Eric. And by the way, Eric Dickerson will be on with us next week. His first 2 seasons, 1880, his first year, then he went for 2105. I didn't think anybody could ever touch something like that, 2105, ever again. I'm seeing something this year. And by the way, Brian Westbrook is absolutely one of my favorite running backs, and I'll tell you why. Could block, pass catch, This guy were in the NFL today. You know what Westbrook would be making? You see what McCaffrey – I'm probably pissing him off right now because you know what McCaffrey's a $20 million guy. Brian Westbrook is probably sitting there going, damn, Mom. Without further ado, truly one of the great Eagles of all time, Brian Westbrook joins us here. And, hey, Brian, man, I hated to do that, bring me in like that, but, hey, man, you in today's NFL, every time I watch McCaffrey, I see you, and I'm like, God, man, Westbrook did that back then, man. He did that now. Are you glad to see the evolution of the running back start to come back again, especially with a lot of teams and especially what's going on in Philly?
Well, I love seeing the running back come back because what we're seeing, and really the advantage that I had was that defenses were playing 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and now I can get in space against a linebacker or a safety and work my magic. So then what defenses started to do, and they're really doing it still now, is they put 4 or 5 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then the nickel, right? And so now they kind of stop that. And so even they're going to a position where you're saying 4 down linemen, 2 cornerbacks or a nickel safety type of person, and they're saying, we're going to stop the pass. We're going to devalue the running back financially, and we're going to stop the pass. And now teams are like, listen, we have a horse back here. The Philadelphia Eagles have a horse back here that can carry the load. And here's the funny thing about Saquon, and this is just the beauty of what he's been able to do really since college. He has the size, big, 230 pounds, to run you over, to run power football if he wants. He has a quickness to make you miss and explosiveness to make you miss in a hole. He also has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. He does a little bit differently than I did, but he has the ability to do that, catch the ball very well. We've seen him catch touchdowns on tough to catch over the shoulder throws. Lastly, what I think I've been surprised by the most, and maybe I shouldn't have been surprised, but he has breakaway speed just to pull away from people in the open field. And as I watch it, I'm like, well, hold on. How is this even coming close to happening? Because if I'm a defense, I'm saying I'm going to make Jalen Hurts beat us. And we're going to put 8 people in the box and we're going to make him throw the accurate throws all game long. The one person that can't beat us is Saquon Barkley. And teams actually have been trying to do that. However, the offensive line has been dominant. The tight ends have been great blockers. The wide receivers have been great blockers. And I'll tell you this about A.J. Brown. You know, I played with some really good receivers, including T.O. T.O., he blocked when he had time, when things were working out. But A.J. Brown, every single play is downfield intentionally blocking. And I say intentionally blocking because in order for a receiver, they're in their mind, their job is to only catch passes. You have to be intentional. You have to actually want the running back to have a home run opportunity, which Saquon obviously does. A.J. Brown is intentionally blocking down the field, and it's truly a thing of beauty to watch. I watched his offensive line, Dan, and I had a really good offensive line. We weren't focused on running the football. We were a pass offense. But Saquon's not getting hit until he's 4 or 5 yards down the field. Now, I mean, that makes things a lot easier for him, and he's continued to make these big plays. But, oh, my goodness, if I had the luxury of getting 4 or 5 yards downfield before getting touched and then getting tackled by DBs, I mean, that is a thing of beauty, and Saquon has just done a great job of it.
How about this too, Brian? I mean, I'm surprised because when he was in New York, I said this about him. He never lived up to that second overall pick. He just never did. And now what I'm watching this year, your point is right on. Becton's blowing guys off the line of scrimmage, and he's not getting touched 3-4 yards into the line of scrimmage. And like you say, safeties are hitting him. But again, not to dismiss anything that he's doing here with that, but to me, this is such an indictment on New York on not building a team around that guy. Because I said this, Brian, if that guy was drafted by the Eagles and he started his career, he's probably going to Canton. You can't be that much. Are you surprised with his ability in what you're seeing this year? Or again, is it just the perfect matchup? The O-line. You mentioned AJ. AJ had to have learned that blocking for Henry in Tennessee because, again, he knew the importance of getting Henry free when Henry was in his prime in Tennessee. So like you said, it just looks like everything is playing out perfectly for Barkley here because he's got all the ingredients around him. Is that fair?
Well, I think it's more than fair. I think when you look at this offense, everything is playing out perfect for everyone. The reason why AJ blocks is because he knows as soon as they put 8 people in the box, that quick slant that nobody can stop, he's going to be wide open on that. The reason why the offensive line continues just to maul people, because that's just what they do. Jeff Stoutland teaches that they continue to find ways. When you talk about Jalen, he hands the ball off with pride because now the same thing with AJ. Now I don't have to worry about double teams on the outside with AJ, double teams on Dallas Goedert. When I actually want to throw the ball down the field, I'm throwing to wide open. The windows that he's throwing through are huge, all predicated on the ability to run the football. So am I surprised that Saquon is doing this? Not really, because I thought he had talent, especially earlier on in his career. Then you talk about some injuries, you talk about just the team not being very good. That always catches up with players. Now we're seeing what Saquon was at Penn State. Now we're seeing what Saquon was early in his career with a much better supporting cast. And because of all these things, this offense looks almost unstoppable, except Dan, in the first quarter. They can't figure out anything in the first quarter, but they figure it out as the game goes on, and they wear people down, and that's important to know.
How about this, Brian? I'm one of the critics here with this. They're number 1 in rushing. And by the way, there's no doubt that Kellen Moore has been brought in to do one thing, and that was improve the passing game. They're 28th. Since the bye, they're asking them to do a lot less in the passing game. They're even, if you know, and I know you noticed, they're also installing the RPOs, it looks like, again. They're running the RPOs now at a 22% rate, more than any team in the league. So that kind of resembles a little bit what they did in 2022. And what people don't realize about the RPO, hey, you can have wide receivers wide open. But again, it comes down to the quarterback making decisions. Can you win a Super Bowl, in your opinion, when you have an offensive passing game? It's down with Carolina right now. And I get it. No one has stopped it, Brian. Okay. And they're playing great on the other side, which limits the 3 and outs on offense because they get 3 and outs. Can they win a Super Bowl with not a top flight passing offense?
If we had the same defense from last year, absolutely not. Because our defense this year, the linebacker play is, I'm talking about, significantly improved over the last 10 years in Philadelphia. The defensive line play, they're getting pressure where I didn't think that Josh Sweat would ever get pressure. He's doing a great job of it. You see the young guys and the Georgia boys from in the middle, they're doing a great job of getting pressure, stopping the run. So when you talk about being 28th in the past, no, that doesn't work typically. However, if you have a defense that is stopping the run, stopping other teams, holding other teams at a high-flying offense to 9 points, especially in the first half, that allows your offense some time to get going. That allows you to be bad in the first quarter and then be 28th in passing because you know that eventually over the course of a game, you have a running game that's just going to beat you down. And the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, now you're talking about Saquon running through holes that you can drive a Mack truck through. So it's a different type of philosophy. We're not saying that Jalen Hurts has to be Patrick Mahomes right here. What we're saying is that our defense has to be great, and they've been great. We're saying that our offensive line has to maul people from the beginning of the game until the end, especially in third and fourth quarter. They will wear down a team. But our offense is playing to our defense. That's what we're seeing here. And the one thing that we have to talk about, we're maybe only 28th in passing. I'm 100% fine with that. We're not turning the ball over. Where this team fails at is when Jalen Hurts tries to throw the ball all across the field and we turn the ball over. Then our defense is playing on short fields. Then, we run into all types of opposition and problems. We're not turning the ball over. We're running the ball very well, and our defense is playing lights out. That's a great equation to win the Super Bowl. So can we win it? Absolutely. Can we make it there? Absolutely. All those things have to continue to work. Now, here's if you're one of these guys that'll say, okay, well, what's the downside to this? Well, what if a defense can stop the run? What if our defense for some reason doesn't come to play one day? Instead of giving up 9 points in the first half, they give up 21 and we only scored 3. Now Jalen has to be able to throw the ball successfully. Now he has to be in the position where he can be successful getting the ball to AJ, Devontae when he becomes healthy, Dallas Goedert, and getting Saquon involved. That's going to be the big question for this team. We haven't faced a team that has really put us in that position much of this season. And so until that happens, if it's not broke, there's no need to fix anything. I would continue doing exactly what we're doing. Offense playing to the defense, defense playing to the offense, and special teams being solid. That's the equation to win a lot of football games.
Brian, for you, when you're in a zone and you're having one of those years and it just every week, and I know when I talked to certain players that were elite guys, they couldn't wait for Sunday because they knew that they were just in one of those zones. And it was one of those years where you're just going to line it up and go play 60 and no one can stop you. Yeah. And you probably have been in that field and mode and that feeling. It looks like Barkley's in that kind of zone right now where he's just looking forward to getting there to Sundays. What's that like? And tell the folks because some years you have injuries that kind of takes you off a little bit. You're wobbling around. It's a grind for you. Some years you just can't wait to show up to the stadium on Sundays. That's kind of where he is now. Is that what you're feeling with him too? And what's that feel like?
There's no doubt that he is in a zone that no matter what a defense does, they can't stop you. I don't care if they put 8 men in the box. I'll make 2 men miss and then go 25, go 30, go 60 yards for a touchdown. Saquon has that ability. I think back to some of my years. In 2007 was one of those years for me. I think maybe I had 2,100 all-purpose yards. It was one of those years where I was like, they can draw and diagram, and we're going to stop Westbrook. But Andy Reid was great at putting me in space. And then it was just one of those natural things. It wasn't something that you could put on film. I mean, it wasn't something that you can draw up on paper. It was just something that happens when you get the ball in your hands. And it's natural. It was natural for me. I see it's much more natural for Saquon. He's just doing a great job of it, of making people miss, making people look foolish in the hole. Even when the offensive line, who rarely ever do this, but even when they miss a block, they don't get up to the linebacker. He makes the linebacker look crazy. And then he takes it to the safety to the next level and sometimes to the end zone. And so it's scary because as a player, you're walking on the field and you have complete confidence. There's no questions. There's no, I wonder if they're going to do this. I wonder if they're going to do that. It's when they do this, it doesn't really matter. I have the answers to the test already. I don't care what the teacher asks. I already have the answers. And now all I have to do is go take the test. That's the point where Saquon is at right now. And, for me, as I look at things for this team, health always is a determining factor. Can you make it to the Super Bowl? Are you prepared? I think they will be prepared. Are you continuing to make sure that you're up for every game? Right? It's easy to go down this stretch and look at these teams that they have to play: Washington and the Giants and Dallas, and say, today's I don't want to work today. Right? It's easy to say that because some of these teams aren't the best. And they have an opportunity to do something special this year. So you have to be on that edge, that tipping point for an entire season. And they have to do that for the rest of this year as well.
Merrill Reese brought something up yesterday, and I couldn't wait to ask you this. Last game of the year, you've wrapped up home field. Everything is in the book. You're 140 away from 2105.
Mm-hmm.
You get an opportunity to make historic history in the NFL. And Brian, you know this. Hey, man, very few times you get a chance to make history in the NFL. It's one thing, of course, the smart thing is rest the kid, get him ready for the divisional round. But if you're there near that old line, you've grinded all year. It's not just about you, Brian. It's about the unit on what you guys have accomplished. What would Brian Westbrook do if he was 120 yards shy in the final game of the season to break Dickerson's 2105? What would you do?
Who's their last game against?
I think it's New York.
Mow them down. That's what I would do. I would mow them down. I would say offensive line, put your big boy pads on. This first half, we're going to go out there, and the one thing that we're going to do is hand the ball off. We're going to make them play honest. I mean, we're not going to just allow them to stack the box and try to stop the run, which they will do because they don't want that to happen on their watch. But our job and your job this week is to go out there and mow them down and do not allow them to stop what we've built. This is special not only for Saquon, the running back. It's special for Kellen Moore. who's looking for a job opportunity, if we're being completely honest. It's special for Nick Sirianni. It's special for that offensive line. It's special for everyone on that football team for this to continue to happen. And think about this. And defenses rarely ever think about why is it offensive thing special to them. This is special for the defense too. You guys have done a great job of getting the ball back to us time after time after time, 3-and-out after 3-and-out, and gives me in our offense an opportunity to run the ball down their throat. Guess what? We're gonna take advantage of this opportunity. He's been healthy all year. I know we can go through the attitude and thought process of we have to protect him against. No, we're gonna go mow him down. We're gonna do what we've been doing. The best way to keep him healthy is allow him to go out there and do what he's been doing. And Dan, I said this earlier, and I don't know that everyone actually realizes it. It's a big difference when you're being tackled by the defensive linemen
Oh
and
yeah.
linebackers versus the DBs and some of the linebackers. There's a huge difference. I just remember there were times where, Andy just got in the pass happy mood, and I would have 8 to 10 carries, but I would have 7 or 8 catches. In those games, after the game, I was ready to go play again because I felt healthy, because the contact from someone that's 175 pounds, obviously, is hugely different than getting beat up by guys that are 330. It's a big difference. So I think Saquon has been relatively healthy, knocking on wood. I hope that he continues that. But if he has an opportunity at the end of the season, you go out there and you make it work for him, because this is a special moment.
And against his former team, the Giants, you would want him to do that too. Couple last ones here for you, Brian. I mean, Brian, did you put your hand up for special teams? Was that something that you wanted to do and something that you wanted the advantage of? That's something from our time where Lawrence Taylor used to line up on the kickoff team. I mean, you'd look across the Giants, all of a sudden you'd see Harry Carson, Carl Banks, and there's Lawrence Taylor on the kickoff team.
Yeah.
They don't do that stuff any longer anymore, but they used to do all that. And can you imagine Barkley on special teams? I know a lot of guys don't do that today, but did you put your hand up for that? And did you embrace that?
I'll say this. If I saw LT and all those other guys on doggone special teams, I went off of that. I went off of that kickoff return team right there. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but when Saquon was in college, I mean, he was a special return. I mean, no matter what he does, when the ball in his hands, he's going to be special. So we obviously we're not going to put him back there, but he's special. For me, I had to play special teams. When I came into the league, we had Deuce Staley, Brian Mitchell. We just went and got Dorsey Levens. We already had Correll Buckhalter, who was coming off a great rookie year. We had Rod Smart, he hate me, and I was behind all those guys. So I had to go play special teams. I had to run down on kicks. I had to block on punt return. On the punt team, I was the personal protector when Brian Mitchell wasn't playing. I mean, I had to do all those things because that's what you do when you're young, and that's what you do when you just want to get on the field. Because offensively, I wasn't going to see the field as much as I wanted to play. So you have to put your hand up and say, Coach, I'm fast. I can kind of tackle, not really, but I can try to get in someone's way. I can block people, and I'll just be aggressive. I'll be in the space, and I'll do whatever I can to help this team win. And that's part of being a special teams guy, being able to do, willing and able to do whatever this team needs to be able to win.
Terrell Davis told me, he goes, I was in Japan and I was on special teams. They weren't even sure they were going to keep me. I ran down the field, made a tackle, and Mike Shanahan kept me. And then, like you said, man, you're doing anything back then to make the roster at the time because you're kind of deep like that when you're naming those names. I mean, Terrell Davis says the same thing, man. I mean, you got to show that you're versatile and being able to do those things to make a club. Jerome Brown was my teammate at the University of Miami. I'm watching this kid, Jaylen Carter, and I made the comparisons. And I said on draft day, Brian, I said, I see the intangibles, quick hands, quick feet, great hands, all that too. Clint Hurt is a former Miami Hurricane who I helped recruit. He's the D-line coach, and we talk extensively all the time about him. You've seen some of the greats, Sapp, John Randall. You've played against some of those guys. Do you see some of those same intangibles here with Jaylen Carter?
I think you mentioned it. Hands. I think of hands. I think of Warren Sapp. I think of John Randall. I think of those guys. I also think of Fletcher Cox, who was feel like he was a little bit bigger, but he used his hands very well. He has body control. He has the ability to start one way and get an offensive lineman who is less athletic, leaning, and use his hands to go the other way. And it always seems because he sets it up so well that he's falling into a tackle. And it's a thing of beauty to watch because when you watch it as an offensive player, I'm saying, okay, I have to be able to set my offensive lineman up against a guy like him. So I want to start one way, and then as soon as he commits, I want to go the other way so that he can't be right. But he just does a great job of two gapping so fast that he can go left or right, whatever way that you don't want that you want to go as a runner. He has the ability to get back in that gap because of his hands, because of his quickness, because of his feet. And now you're like, well, timeout. We have to actually run away from him. We can't run that way. We can't run to the right side because he's over there. Jaylen Carter is over there. We have to go to the outside to the left. We're going to try to double team him. And what he's continuously done is be double teamed. So offensively, what do you have to do? We have to throw the ball. Oh, and what happens when he throws the ball? Well, the last thing that you want offensively is pressure in the quarterback's face. He's in the quarterback's doggone face when you throw the ball. And so he has put himself in the conversation of one of the best young interior offensive linemen that this league has seen in a very long time. You remember Aaron Donald a couple of years ago. Not the biggest guy. He was strong, but he was so quick. He was quick off the ball. And I don't know that Jalen is as quick off the ball, but his first move and his secondary and third move are much better than anybody else that I've seen in the league in a very, very long time. And I love watching him play. And this is a great thing for interior guys. If you're going to get double teamed, that allows everyone else to be singled up. And now you're seeing guys like Josh Sweat singled up, making sacks. Jordan Davis making big plays. Everybody, across the board, everybody is benefiting because of his great play. And certainly he should get a lot more of the credit. But listen, I mean, he is taking the brunt of the double teams because he's so good and still making plays. That's a thing of beauty, especially for a young player.
Finally here, tell me this. Is Andy Reid a better coach today, or is it Mahomes? What was he like when he was there? Because, again, I mean, Mahomes goes off script sometimes. He said it in the Super Bowl. There were play calls that he kind of audibled out of. And Andy, I mean, when you look at Andy Reid today, is that the Andy Reid that coached you when you were in Philadelphia? Or is it the same guy with just maybe a different – I don't want to dismiss Donovan, but I'll say a different style of player that you had there in Kansas City? Is he the same coach?
I think that any coach that would say they're the same 15 years later wouldn't be a very good coach at all. That means you haven't changed anything in 15 years. Now, you may have some of the similar ideas. Andy Reid's going to have the shovel pass in that doggone offense. He's going to have the sprint right option in that offense. He's going to do a lot of the similar things. However, I don't even know who their running back is anymore. Pacheco, I mean, does he touch the ball? We don't need a running back. They have a tight end and guys on the outside. Most importantly, they have a quarterback, right? I believe that Andy is a better coach now because he's saying it's not necessarily about my offense. It's not about what I want. It's about, number 15 and making sure that he has what he needs. And if it's a different play, then it's a different play. And sometimes with age, with knowledge, with understanding, you have a better use of your discernment. Listen, it's not about me. It's about these guys on the field. And one thing, and he did it back in the day, Andy was great at saying, what Westbrook does good? He will block. That's okay. He will block. He don't want to, but he will. But if we could get him the ball in space, then he could be a problem. You know what Todd Pinkston does well? I don't need Todd Pinkston running a 5 and in across the middle. He's 6'3", 6'4", 150 pounds. That's not what he's going to do good. But what he could do good is go deep. And he led the league in deep passes for a very long time. He played to the strengths of the people that he has around him. And right now he's playing to the best strength in football, which is Patrick Mahomes. So to me, is he a better coach? Is he the same coach? Absolutely not. Is he a better coach? I sure hope so. It certainly seems so, the way they continue to win games, and they're winning the close games. And I hate to say that sometimes you have to win those close games to win it all, but a win is a win. Of course, you want to win by 20 every single game, but after winning a couple of Super Bowls in a row, there will be some close games, and they're finding ways to win it. To me, that means something.
Let me sneak one in here on you with Nick Sirianni. Why? Half of Philly loves him, half of Philly hates him. Now, is that Philly, or is that just the position of being the head coach? Educate me here, because Angelo Cataldi comes on the show every Monday, and he can't stand him, okay? Yep. He can't stand him. There's guys that think now with this win percentage, and I always tell people, don't go by win percentages. You're trying to tell me you think Nick is better than Parcells? Parcells has got a 520 win percentage. That's not really what this is about. It's about titles. How do you look at Nick Sirianni?
You know, the best part that we have had over this, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 game stretch is that we have not put Nick Sirianni in a place where he has to make some of the bad decisions that he's made earlier in the season. And, you know, I give credit to Vic Fangio for that. I give credit to Kellen Moore for that. Not that they're doing it intentionally, but I mean, they want both their units to play well. But Nick Sirianni has not had to make these crazy decisions going forward on 4th down because he's pressing the issue. He hasn't had to do that. And so he's kind of been out of the way. And being out of the way for a head coach is not a bad place to be. Now, Andy Reid's going to get the credit because this is Andy Reid's offense, and this is the way he thinks and the way they're the high flying, of course. But Nick Sirianni has said, you know what? It's not about me. I'm going to back up, allow these players to lead, Jalen Hurts to lead, allow A.J. Brown, Saquon, Lane, these guys up front, the guys on defense, Jaylen Carter and Kobe Dean and those guys in the secondary to lead. And because of that, it's about the players. It's not about me getting in the way as a coach. And to me, that's the ultimate respect that you can give the guys on the field by saying, I'm going to get out of the way so that you guys only have to focus on answering questions about football stuff and not about, well, why did Nick Sirianni go for it on 4th down? Well, guess what? We're not going to put you in that position because Saquon, we're going to hand the ball off to him and he's going to get the dog on 1st down, right? That's a thing of beauty. That's something that's special. And it takes a mature coach to be able to do that. I respect Nick Sirianni for being able to do that. Now, if he comes this next game and makes a crazy 4th down call, then, you know, we have to talk about that too. And we have to go back to saying, okay, Nick, you got to make better decisions. But that's part of being a fan. That's part of being an analyst. But that's also wanting your team to win. I want my coach to put my team in the best position to win. And if it's going for it on 4th down, great. If you don't get it, then I have to talk bad about you. That's just part of me being a fan as well. And so it's a complicated thing. Nick Sirianni has gotten out of his own way, and I think that's a thing of beauty.
Okay, is it Appaloosa's Thoroughbreds that you – okay, so I don't look at you as a Western Trail guy. I have to think that you're more of a guy who's in the thoroughbred arena there. So, I mean, where are we here? Are you looking for show ponies? Or are you looking for money ponies? Which one is it right now? From what I'm hearing about you, I hear you like the ponies.
I do like the ponies. I tell you this, I have lost a lot of monies with thoroughbreds. And so I've learned my lesson very quickly. I've lost a lot of money with horses, period. I mean, I think when you talk about horses and you talk to people that know horses, you lose money. It's not a money-making thing unless you find a winner all of a sudden. But so we got out of the race horses early on. I'm talking about very, very early on, my first couple of years in horses. Now we do a sport called reining. So we breed, we train, we sell reining horses, which are really quarter horses, right? And so reining, there's a show on TV called Yellowstone that inside they have a little arena and guys run down and they slide their horses, their butt on basically dragging on the ground. Their front feet are pawing, but their back legs are dragging. And then they do quick circles and around themselves. That's what our horses do. It's a beautiful sport. It's a Western sport. And so when you talk about trail rides, that's what me and my kids love to do. We don't love to really show. We do that because we like competing. But we allow the trainer to do that. We love trail riding. We love putting the horses in the trailer, going to the park and spending the day at the park, riding around, watching the kids do their thing on the horses, watching them grow up into horses. And then one of the funny things, during COVID, we were down in Maryland and my wife took horse riding lessons and my oldest took horse riding lessons. And for me to watch them fall in love with horses the same way that I fell in love 20 years ago was truly a thing of beauty, an expensive thing of beauty. Because, when your wife gets into horses, then you got to buy the saddle and the matching helmet and the pants. And my daughters I have 2 girls too. And so they are just as bad as my wife. So it's become truly expensive.
I'll tell you this, man, down at Del Mar, I got kind of into where I dropped a couple bucks into a pony where you get kind of like a small share in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching this thing and you're like, finished second to last. He goes, well, hey, not everybody's going to be a winner here, guy. You got to know. If you get a winner, you're going to be lucky. So I went, yeah, well, guess what? I'm not sure I'm in this. So if I just show up for the shrimp cocktails now.
Just go and enjoy it. What my horse trainer used to tell me, and it used to drive me mad. He would say, you should just be happy that you're competing on this level. And I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. I came here to win. I spend money every single month for you to train this horse to win, not to just compete. So I had to get away from that trainer. We would never see eye to eye.
Hey, what are you working on? You doing anything right now? Are you working on, I know you had a project. The last time we talked, you were doing something as an author. You're doing anything right now because you're so busy all the time.
Yeah.
You're so active in retirement now. Is there anything you're doing right now?
I am. So I have a couple things that I have going on. Number one is the Brian Westbrook Foundation. That's my heart and soul. I pour into that. And our mission is to educate, empower, and provide access to opportunities for youth across the country. We're really focused on Maryland, DC, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New York, that whole mid-Atlantic region. We have agricultural data analytics camps. We have STEAM camps. We have STEM camps. We have athletic data analytics camps. So many people are scared of the word data analytics. And I tell them all the time, if you're arguing who's better, LeBron versus Michael Jordan, then you understand data analytics. You're saying, well, Jordan has 6 championships. LeBron has this. He's a better shooter. You understand analytics. You're just not using it to your advantage. There's so many opportunities in data and analytics across the board. Every company that you look at, from Amazon to doggone Google, everybody's using data analytics. Learn how to use data analytics to your advantage. So we do that with our foundation. We have entrepreneurship programs. We have horsemanship programs as well. We're doing all those things. And Dan, before I have self-funded everything because it's important to me and I love these kids. Now we're starting the process where we're collecting donations. So anyone that is interested in what we're doing, please go to the BrianWestbrookFoundation.com. You can also email us at info@BrianWestbrookFoundation.com. We always are looking for help. We're also looking for donations, and we're also looking for more kids to be able to help. That's our true passion. The other thing that I'm doing, Dan, is the Westbrook Project Solutions. And so that's an engineering staffing company, still in the Mid-Atlantic area. We are helping either universities, healthcare systems. If you need a project manager, a construction manager, an inspector, QA, QC people, if you need any staffing help, we can help you staff your business. And so we're supplying staffs, individuals to help all different types of industries. All you have to do is give us a call. You can go to WestbrookProjectSolutions.com. And send us an email. We can absolutely help anything that you need. We're super excited about both businesses.
Absolutely. And we will make sure we promote them. And by the way, I might want to send Sirianni's coaching staff, the offensive coaching staff, with those first 25 plays with those analytics that aren't working in the first quarter because they need to apply that.
You just don't, whatever they're doing in those first 15, just throw it away. It's not working. I will try something different. And it's weird because I've tried to give them a little bit of grace. I'm like, well, maybe they're setting something up for later. And truthfully speaking, if you believe that, which I say that tongue in cheek, it has worked. So I don't know what the heck is going on. I believe that their offense is one that they will wear you down.
Yep.
And they've done that the last few games, and so that's really good to see.
Thank you, Brian, so much for your valuable time, man. We'll make sure we promote all of those foundations, and we so appreciate you doing this, man. I mean, truly one of the greatest Eagles of all time, one of my favorites of all time. I'm sorry, Jerome's my boy, so he's number 1. You're number 2, so I'm going to go. And Reggie's number 3. Reggie, I love them very much. God rest both their souls. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it, and God bless you and your family.
Anytime. Thanks so much, Dan. Take care.
You got it. The great Brian Westbrook joins us. That was really awesome. Don't forget, too, to make sure you check out all of those foundations. And, guys, really cool. Thank you so much. Hit the like button. By the way, Big Sills, JAKIB Sports, and our friends at BetUS, we have teamed up with them throughout this football season, and we were imploring you to go to the website at our friends at BetUS. The 150 YouTube. That's right. 150 YouTube. There you get an opportunity to have a signing bonus up to $2K. Your second and third are 125% deposits up to $2K. 200% on your signing bonus up to $2K. In crypto as well, go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business. 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Was that a ringing endorsement for Nick Sirianni by Brian Westbrook? I don't know if that was. I don't know if that was a ringing endorsement. Hey, he's gotten out of the way. Is he a good coach? Well, he's allowed himself to get out of the way. I don't know. By the way, Battle Royale. Mark Holmes, Dallas Cowboy honk, has to be, well, you know what he's going to be today. It'll be this. We have hope. They're 5-7. Okay. And then, of course, you have the greatness of Philly 500. He will be with us. That'll be at the bottom of the hour. Okay? Hey, how about this? Was that, you think Brian Westbrook gave him an endorsement? Hey, Nick, it was more to this. Nick, stay out of the way. Nick, stay out of the way. It's kind of what we say, Angelo and I. Hey, Nick, do me a favor. Just stay the fuck out of the way. He's done a nice job. Hey, by the way, he's right. Saquon Barkley makes him stay out of the way. Because you know when he is in the way? The first 15, 25 plays. That's Nick Sirianni. You guys keep asking the question. Why does Angelo and Dan and other people not think Nick's that good a coach? Take a look at your first quarter. That's when you spend the entire week putting those 15 plays together, talking with your analytics people and your coaching staff, and you make decisions on what plays you're going to run. That's Nick. By the way, Nick talked about Kellen. Hey, Kellen's brought some really nice ideas to the offense. Dude, Nick's got his hands all over that, but he can't really put too much on it because you know why? It's not a passing team. You know why Nick's doing better right now? Because he hasn't had a passing offense. That is not a passing offense. It's a running offense. Nick Sirianni, Xander said it 2 days ago. How come they go pass, run, pass, run, pass, 3 and out? And then before you know it, they're behind the sticks and behind the scoreboard. That's because they're trying to throw the ball. That's Nick's influence. Because after that, how hard is it to call a play? Zone right, zone left. And you got that old line blowing P. You heard Westbrook. Westbrook wasn't dismissing what Barkley's doing, but that old line is blowing. This is the stuff right here. Remember when, and some of you will probably remember, Xander was talking about how great Barkley's performance was when he had, I think it was the 302 game. And the first thing John and I said was that old line was insane. That's exactly what Brian Westbrook just said. Hey, man, Barkley's not getting touched 4 yards into the line of scrimmage. He goes, I wish I had that. That's how dominant they are and how good they're performing. Is that Barkley is 4 yards into the line of scrimmage before he's even seeing contact. In the majority of the time, he's not being tackled by D tackles, not even linebackers. He's being tackled by free safeties. By the way, that's not a rip. That's a testament to the greatness of the old line. It's not an indictment. I don't know why it is. Sometimes I say something like this, and you guys get your fucking panties in a bind, and you won 8 in a row with that style of play, and I'm telling you who you are, but you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. Okay? Hey, you know what? I see people in here going, well, the Lions, D-line's not going to stop that. Well, you could easily say the same thing about the Lions' offensive running attack. You're not stopping that either. You couldn't stop the Ravens' running attack. You didn't. Look at the grades. You guys on a Monday were trying to tell me that Jordan Davis and Jaylen Carter played great against the run. I'm like, I don't think so. And the kids being triple teamed, there's no doubt. But they didn't play great against the double. They didn't play great against the run. It was 5 yards a pop as a team. Okay? 5 yards a pop. I mean, Nolan Smith, by the way, you heard Vic even saying we hung in there. Okay? Well, okay, get this. Well, they outrushed you. They had 170 yards rushing. Nick and Hurts went to the Super Bowl and playoffs every year without Barkley. Howie and Nick had committed to the run. Why pass it? We're winning. Why pass it? Why'd you try passing it last year? Why didn't you try passing it in the first quarter? I'll tell you why. The money you spent. I'll tell you this. Brian brought something great up about A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, you know what? There's four dudes on that team. The Eagles. There's four dudes on that team that you really have to question the organizations. So the Saints didn't know what they had in Zach Bond. The Jets didn't know what they had in Micaiah Becton. And the Titans didn't know what they had in A.J. Brown. And the Giants didn't know what they had in Barkley. Now, let me ask you something here. Let's put this down on paper. Okay? Who's the best player on the team right now? Who do you think the best player on the team is right now on the Eagles? Who's the best player? Saquon, Xander. Lamar had more yards than Henry. Goff ain't that. Goff doesn't have to be that. He throws the ball. He throws for 35 touchdowns. They have two backs, like you have two backs. They held B more under season numbers per Johnny Mack. Just a little bit, not a lot. They had 372 yards in total. They held you under total year number. You had 250 yards in total offense. You were averaging 472. The Ravens actually stopped you. It was just stupid indecisions by Lamar. You had 250 yards in total offense. They had 5 yards a carry. I don't know. Hurts no huddle. Calling plays from the O-line. How about this? Okay, here's your best player, Saquon. Who's your second best player? AJ? Who's your third best player? Who's your third best player? Speculation? I don't speculate on anything. That's you. You're the ones that are speculating on what you're going to do. I talk about what you are right now. Zach Bond, Chris. Okay. Zach Bond. Who's the fourth best player? Fourth best. We'll do just 5. Who's the fourth best player? Leading fourth quarter, we run. Why pass 40 times? I don't know. Carter. And we'll do one more. Fifth best player. I would say Lane. All right. Of those top 5 players, who drafted Lane? Is that a is that a Howie pick, or is Lane a Chip Kelly pick? Chip Kelly, right? Drafted Lane. Chip drafted Lane. Okay. Right? It was Chip. Yes. It was under Chip. He had total control. Carter, Howie. Zach Bond, free agent. AJ, trade. Barkley, free agent. Top 5 players on the team. 3 of them are, one's a trade and 2 are free agents. That's well done. Okay? I mean, that's finding other people on other rosters that didn't utilize him. Barkley is 1. Jaylen Carter, Jordan who is 4. Jordan who? Look at Till's getting ready to speculate on some dumb. Speculate on what? I never speculate. I talk about who you are right now, dickhead. Our last 5 games, we was winning by 2 scores going into the 4th. No. Once again, Haas, you are a running team from the start of the game. After you fail miserably in the first quarter, you start running it. And the majority of the time you're behind. You don't throw to get back into games. You run the ball to get back into games. Okay? Right now, we are the best team in the NFC. I don't believe that. I think you and Detroit are. You have nothing on Detroit. And Detroit has nothing on you. And their quarterback's better. And done more. And asked to do more. That's not speculation. That's fact. So it's one thing we got to keep in mind. Lane's getting older. I think he's a really good ball player. I do. I think he's having a great year, but Penei Sewell's the best right tackle in all of football right now. There's no question about it. Goff isn't shit. He's throwing screens. Yeah, that's why he's thrown for screens for 10 years for 4,500 yards and 3,000 yards, 30 touchdowns a year. Right. That's what he does. He fucking throws screens. How ignorant can you get? Your quarterback has the 28th ranked offense. They are 4th in passing and 4th in rushing. They're more balanced, dogs. What are you not getting? It's not stats, Sue. It's who they are. They've got 2 backs that are going to get over 1,300 rushing yards, and they got a quarterback that's going to throw for $4,000 and 35 touchdowns with 72 completion percentage. He's been accurate. He throws for touchdowns, and they run the ball. That's not fucking stats. That's who they are. Holy shit. Stats? That's who they are. You want to know stats? Okay, I see. It works for you when we talk about the defensive numbers. But when I bring up what Detroit's doing, it doesn't matter. What a bunch of tools. Here, we did it again. We brought this up here, man. How fucking stupid can you be, Sue? I mean, look at this. Once again, this is not by the numbers. This is what they've done after 12 games. They're 2nd in total O. They're number 1 in scoring offense. They're number 5 in passing. This is the Lions. They're 4th in rushing. They're number 4 in third down. What are you talking about? They're good across the board for the 12 games. Here's the Eagles. 377. They're 4th. Here, get this. I can't wait till Mark Holmes and everyone comes. The Eagles are 28th in passing, 188, and they're 1st in rushing, 188.9. Do you understand? I have never seen an NFL team that runs the ball more than throws for yards. I've never seen that. Show me a winning team that is a contending football team that has an offense that the running game is more effective and efficient than the passing game. Show me one. Stats don't tell the whole story. I'm talking about who you are. You don't. Are you under the impression you throw the ball? This guy's bringing up the 86 Giants, something 40 fucking years ago. The 93 Cowboys, 30 years ago. There was no free agency. This guy's going so far back, there wasn't even a salary cap. That's how fucking ignorant some of you are. Holy criminy. Well, the 93 Cowboys, the 93 Cowboys can keep every single dude on that team, and they did. Cap comes in. Do you understand something about that Cowboy team of 92, 93? You think you could keep that team together today with Emmett, Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, Deion Sanders, and all them fucking guys? Never happened. Larry Allen? Never happened. Get this. Twiz, Goff had 85 yards passing. He's going to throw for 4,500 yards and 35 touchdowns this year, guy. Holy shit. They're under some impression Jalen Hurts has done more than what Jared Goff got to a Super Bowl his second year in the league. And I'm not a Jared Goff guy. Here, before I get Mark Holmes on here, dude, Hurts will never see the inside of these numbers in his entire career because that's not who he is. They're defining him right now on who he is. They are totally defining him. Don't turn the ball over, limited passing. And that's what he's done. Those aren't stats. Get this. So here's what this guy, get this. Before I bring Mark on, this is what Jared Goff has done in his career. 4,700 yards and 32 touchdowns, 4,700 yards and 30, 4,000 yards and 29 touchdowns, 4,530, 46 and 35. This year he's going to have 35 TDs and 4,500 yards. He led the NFL in passing attempts one year. Last 2 years, he's 23 and 6. What in the world are you talking about? I mean, he's been to a Super Bowl. He's actually been to 2 NFC title games. What in the world has Hurts done more than him? Jared Goff, who's not even, in my opinion, I'll tell you what, I will say this. If Goff wins against Green Bay and Buffalo, he probably wins the MVP award. So as we can go as long as Jalen Hurts doesn't play like an asshole. His butt buddies are ruining my fan base, and it's upsetting. Xander, I missed the super chat. I'm going to bring Mark in here because Philly 500 is running a little bit behind here. Winston threw for 497 yards and lost. Who cares? No shit. Who said that Jameis Winston was good? I didn't. If I were Cleveland, I'd keep his ass. Their alternative is a guy who's worse. Holy cow. What in the world has that guy done more than Jalen Hurts? He's been to 2 NFC title games. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's a prolific passer from the pocket, and I'm not even a golf fan. I hate to have to qualify and justify my takes. You know what? I'm not going to stop because I'm not talking to idiots who live in a fucking gutter for this kid here. It drives me crazy. Both teams are good. All right. Now we have to do this. I guarantee you this is the land of, hope. And there's hope at 5-7. And then there's my boy, Philly 500, who at the end of the day, I've never seen a guy who's won as much where every coach hates us. Everybody hates this guy. Okay? We even had Brian Westbrook on with us a couple minutes ago, and he didn't give him a big-time endorsement. All that being said, it is always great to get the battle royale. We love it. And we love these two guys. Mark, Hope, Holmes, and the legendary Philly 500. Philly,
what's
I
happening?
think Holmes, I think he disconnected because he didn't want to hear you beat his ass up here, man. I
Ah,
think
well,
that's
I'm,
what we got going on here.
I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. I got home a little late from work, so I
Okay,
apologize for that.
brother.
But thank you for having me on. I'm here to tell you I'm feeling good. It's been a good day, and yeah, where is that moron? I'm sure he's making his playoff shirts right now as we speak. There he is.
Mark, are you making playoffs? Are you making playoff seats?
All he talks about is the playoffs. That's all he talks about.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
He don't want the playoffs.
Me? Playoffs?
That's an embarrassment. You imagine if the Eagles are the 2 seed and Dallas squeaks into the playoffs, guess who Dallas has got to go play? Good night.
The Eagles.
You're going to have to deal with that all season.
If the Cowboys were lucky enough to win that much and make the playoffs, I would actually be happy to play the Eagles because we have some success against the Eagles on a regular basis. I'm just saying, 49ers, they own our ass in the playoffs, okay? Yeah, in recent history. Green Bay, they own our ass. But Eagles, you haven't swept us since 2012. I'm just saying.
That's about like another few weeks.
I'm sitting over here with a 3% chance of making playoffs. At this point, I'm just hoping that we can at least get one more win so I can say, Dan, you were wrong about us only being a 5-win team. But I mean, that's all I got these days.
I tell you what, Dallas, after watching that Thanksgiving Day game, which I think that first half took 2 hours to play. That was that. You look at that game and that quality, and then you look at the labor. Then you look at the quality game with the Eagles Ravens. I don't think Dallas could compete. I don't think Dallas should be on the field.
I mean, it's a pipe dream. Okay, it's something to talk about.
Mark, you think you could? Okay, you got Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Carolina.
Which is not going to be an easy one. Cincinnati can
No, but I think you could win that in Carolina. So there's 2 that puts you at 7-7, and then down the stretch you got Tampa Bay, Philly, and Washington.
6 and 7. You got 6 and 7. Then we have Carolina and then Tampa Bay.
Okay. So then you'd be 6 and 7 heading into that Bucs game?
No, the Carolina game. So we could be
Carolina
7 and 7. We could be 7 and 7 going into the Bucs game.
Okay. With Cooper Rush. So what's the point of making the playoffs?
There really isn't. I mean, quite frankly, although
beautiful.
At this point, what I'm looking at is how can the Cowboys be in the best position to do something in the beginning of next year? And, by hook or by crook, at least some of these young guys are getting some experience. Brock Hoffman is looking actually pretty good and making you think that maybe he might be able to take over for Zach Martin next year. Mozzie Smith, the guy that, you talk about slowly but surely is coming on. 31 tackles right now. 31 tackles the last 3 games. He has been actually playing well. Rico who? I know. Rico who?
Rico Ricardo.
He's averaging 4.5 yards a carry. And I'm not saying that this is great news or anything like that, but it's a start to say at least we have a few pieces here. And at least I'm not in here every week with a loss and just getting my ass kicked.
Well, Mark, here. So you're saying
can I say something?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when they had this strike that year, there were people that filled in for the players, right? That had good statistics. That didn't mean they believed on the field. They didn't belong. That didn't mean they belonged on the field because they had a few good games. The best thing Dallas could do, the best thing Dallas could have done was lose. I'm sorry, but they could have lost.
Wait.
Killed themselves.
You should tank the entire season, Mark.
But tanking doesn't guarantee you that you're going to get great players. Hell, the Jets and the Giants every year drafting in the top 10.
Terry does a nice job.
But you do a better job, though, right? Drafting.
We do, but drafting isn't our problem.
Yeah. Mark wants to set himself up to be hurt again. I love it.
I just said we got a 3% chance of making the playoffs. I don't think that we're going to. It's great to talk about the different scenarios and things. At least we have something that's relevant to talk about. But I'm not going to sit here and literally we missed the playoffs.
Wait a minute.
I've already got set in my mind.
Wouldn't you rather have the 5th pick in 7 rounds, the 5th pick in every round, than sitting there hanging around 15 just being average where you're hanging around that toilet bowl where you're 7-9, you're 6-11, and you're hanging in that room. Mark, in the NFL, I think the option is to either blow out loud or be great.
That's what I think.
I hear what you're saying. And that sounds nice, but it's going to be what it's going to be. Whether I want us to be in the playoffs or whether I want us to have a high draft pick, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to fall wherever it falls. And so, it may end up being we lose to Cincinnati, Cincinnati, who's a 5.5-point favorite per Bet US at the moment. It's going to be what it's going to be. And I can look at it and say the Cowboys had the 12th pick and got Micah, and you can look at it and say he was the best pick of everybody in front of him, except maybe Penny Sewell. So you just don't know.
You know what talking Cowboys is like? It's like picking the 5th ugliest chick in the building to date because there's 5 ugly chicks. And I have to pick one of the lesser ugly bitches in the room for me to sit there and have a date. It really is. It become nauseating for you, and I'm feeling sorry for it.
What do you think it is for me to have to come through and
Mark, I have to ask you seriously here. Just all shits and giggles here.
There's no giggles here. There's no giggles.
When you are putting content together, what's the number one place you go for Dallas Cowboy content? What's the thing you post? And what is the thing you say that will help you turn this whole thing around?
There is no turning this thing around as long as Gary and Stephen Jones are running this thing.
And you're in a bad marriage.
Believe me, an abusive marriage. You didn't know that? We're in an abusive relationship.
Yeah, but you're getting your ass kicked every night.
There ain't no bandwagon, bro. This is just a beat up jalopy in the gutter.
All right, let me get over to Philly.
We Catholics call it purgatory. They're in purgatory.
Purgatory would be nice right now.
Catholics. Yes, Mark, us Catholics. Hey,
I meant me.
Hey, Philly, do you have any concerns? Your passing game is 28th in the NFL right now, and on top of that, you are actually averaging more rushing yards of any of the contending teams. It's the only I've never seen it before where the offense is running through one guy and it's not the quarterback in today's NFL. That offense is running through the running back. And when you look at Detroit, here, let me just give you what they've done this year. They're 5th in passing, 4th in rushing, and number 1 in scoring. You're 4th in total offense. You're 28th in passing. You're 1st in rushing, and you're 7th in scoring. Do you truly believe you have a better offense in Detroit?
I think the Eagles, maybe not in a passing game type of way, but I think the Eagles have a better team in Detroit, and we're going to find out. I think that the ranked 28th, that talk, I think it's overrated, because the reason why the Eagles are 28th isn't because Jalen Hurts is failing to be a passer. It's because you have a running back that is doing something that possibly nobody has ever done. How can you say, you know what? We need to have Jalen Hurts throw 30, 40 times when you have Saquon Barkley running the ball? I mean, it would be criminal, in my opinion. So the factors are this. I just think it works out because of your running game being so good. I don't think it's a negative.
How about this then? Don't you think the first quarter is an indictment of how, get this, it's littered with passing plays. When they realize they get 3 and outs and they can't throw the ball, they're either behind or they're behind the sticks. Then they go back to running. Don't you see that they're trying to throw the ball in the first quarter? They realize they can't. That's when they go back to the running, because what would you think would be the number one issue on why the first quarter they're the worst first quarter team in pro football? Why?
Well, I think, look, I honestly don't know who's at fault when it comes to that, but I do
think
know
that's
this.
Nick.
Well, I do too, but I can't prove it. But if you go back and you listen to what he said previous years, he said, I like to throw the ball early and run late. That was kind of his philosophy. I think they try to do it. But here's the thing. When they come out and they're not running the ball well, or they're not throwing the ball well, and they're not using Barkley. I think a lot of it is predictability. Everybody knows every week that they're going to come out and try to throw. They don't come out and try to establish the run early. They come out and try to throw, and everybody knows it. That's why, I think once the adjustments are made, they play really good. If you take that first quarter out of that 28th ranked offense stuff, right, the passing game, you take that first quarter out, where would they be ranked? I don't know, but I would love to know, because I think it's really, really high. I think that first quarter really hurts statistically the Eagles in that regard.
I'm going to let Mark comment on this one as well, but I want to ask you, and if you agree or disagree, I think Kellen Moore hasn't brought Dick to the offense. I'll say, and here's why. Barkley improved it. That's Howie. By adding him, if the passing game has not improved, he was brought in to improve the passing game. It is not improved. The only thing that is improved, and now they're even running RPOs at a 20% clip now in the games. They've implemented it. Do you know, since the bye, they are running the RPO at 22% more than any other team in the league right now, which means they're trying to get back to 22. Hey, guess what? I'm okay with that, because that's who that kid is. But at the end of the day here, that's not what they're trying to do. They're not trying to be a balanced offense. They're trying to be more of a rushing offense here. So Kellen Moore has not improved the pass game. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree 100%. And here's what I'll say as far as being one-dimensional like that. Stop shaking it up. When anybody doesn't agree with you, you just, you're poo-pooing it. But think about Adrian Peterson.
Why I'm laughing.
No, hold on. Think about how good Adrian Peterson was with Minnesota. How much success did they have in the playoffs? How much success did the Tennessee Titans have with Derrick Henry in the playoffs? Not a lot. And that's where you look at this and say, what if Barkley does get nicked up?
Or even Dickerson.
Yeah. Then what happens to this team? I would love to have a situation where my quarterback only had to throw 19 passes and complete 11 to win a game against Baltimore. So I think that is the Achilles heel, and starting off slow and not scoring points is definitely a problem. But go ahead, Phil.
I'm knocking on wood, because he always brings up, every time we talk about Barkley, he always brings up that word, and I am not dealing with that word of
okay. I will take that word back.
That word.
But being one-dimensional, we have not seen a heavy run-dominated team go to the Super Bowl in recent history. We just have not. We've got good running backs, but not teams that are focused solely on being able to run the football, and that's where you really are going.
Yes. The Eagles are 4 steps ahead of the rest of the league, right? And they got somebody else who could, when you do what everybody else has to do to win, you're just copying. But the Eagles are setting trends. You watch how many teams next year try to adjust to be more like the Eagles. The fact of the matter is this: I don't think many teams, maybe Detroit, could do what the Eagles do. They have a ridiculously good offensive line. They have a ridiculously good running back. I mean, if you don't,
and an average quarterback,
if you have a winning quarterback, a winner at quarterback, if you don't use these guys, then it's bad coaching. Now, why I left when Mark was talking about Kellen Moore was because I know he was going to say anything he can to be negative towards Moore. But the truth is Moore showing up to be a good coach. I mean, like I said, if Barkley was getting 12 carries a game, people would be losing their minds. It would be criminal. This guy's about to set possibly rushing records. I mean, the fact of the matter is you have to use them, and Moore's recognized that. They even went out and signed a fullback. I don't think we should be sitting there saying, "Oh, Jalen Hurts can't do this, and Moore is not doing a good enough job there." They're doing what they have to do. You like it or not, Barkley is just too valuable to not. You have to use them. And the Eagles are doing the right thing. And I think the coaches are doing the right thing. And Jalen Hurts is fine. I trust Jalen Hurts to win big games. You know, it's funny. He could struggle in the first quarter, but when he has to get that pass on third down, he has to get this team going. He always finds a way to do it. I think he's a winner, and I trust him very much in any situation.
How about this, Mark? I saw you say something about Goff. Are you under the impression that Dak Prescott's a better quarterback than Jared Goff?
I'm going to say, here's what I would like to see, okay? Because you can't really compare what one guy is doing with the other. You can't look at Jalen Hurts. See, here's where – no, just listen to me for a second.
Wait a minute. Jared Goff was sent – he was sent to
Jared Goff has done some great things.
He was sent to Detroit to die. He was going to be a stopgap
right, and he was part of turning that team around. But you can look at him and say, that's a great team built around him right now. And when I look at the Eagles, and, no disrespect, Jalen Hurts, they're beating the people that are in front of them. They're doing what is asked of them to do to be winners. I can't complain about what they're doing. But would Jalen Hurts do the same thing if he was in a situation like we are here in Dallas, where you're asked to pass 60 times a game like Cooper Rush? We literally asked Cooper Rush to throw the ball 60
Every time that guy has been asked to pass, he's turned the ball over.
I want you to understand there's a big difference where you can pick and choose and only have to throw 19 passes, and you've got a running back who's eating up yards like crazy on a record pace.
And Mark, do you know why? Do you know why the passing game is open for Jalen?
They're so worried about stopping Barkley.
Barkley's creating – Brian Westbrook said Barkley's creating one-on-ones on the perimeter for AJ, and that slant is undefendable right now, and that's why they go to that more. No, this is where I disagree a little bit here, Philly. I don't believe if that guy throws the ball 37 times, he wins games, because they haven't done that since the bye. And you're right. They are going with what they do to make them successful right now. And that is this. If you can stop it, fine, we're going to get beat. But if you can't stop it, you really think they're just going to flip the switch and all of a sudden you're going to have a 45 passing attempt game and he's going to throw for 350 yards? He hasn't done that in 2 years.
I don't think he will, and I don't think it will ever have to happen. But in the situations that the Eagles are in, if we're talking about specific situations like down 4 with 1:36 left and having to go get a touchdown, I trust Jalen Hurts. I don't trust a Dak Prescott. You want to say what you want about, Dak doesn't have this and that. Dak Prescott does not win in the playoffs. What big game has he gone out and won in the playoffs? The guy lost as a 1 seed. He lost as a 2 seed. But we're going to talk about Hurts, who went out there and arguably in a loss in a Super Bowl on the biggest stage was the MVP. So he showed me.
Did you have a running game in that Super Bowl?
No, we didn't.
You didn't have any. Did you rush more than 50 yards?
We did. I don't think we did. I don't know exactly, but we didn't. But I know this. When we were a 1 seed, Hurts got us to the Super Bowl. Where's Dak Prescott? Where's the accountability? We're gonna ride it.
Okay, Dak Prescott's not even on the field right now. No,
right. We talk about him every video.
Hold on. Let's see. You're deflecting. Hold on. You're deflecting about your team right now. My team was not going anywhere. You guys are the ones that are talking about Super Bowls and everything else, taking on the lines.
I'm not.
Well, Mark, you got to admit, that they're one of the 2 best teams, and then the other 2 are Minnesota and Green Bay.
I'm saying
here's where. Go ahead, son.
No, I was just gonna say what I'm saying is if Jalen Hurts was on the Cowboys, Jalen Hurts does not have that game versus Green Bay in the playoffs. If he has to win certain games, certain situations, he does it. I don't care if he doesn't throw like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen.
What happened to Tampa Bay last year then?
I mean, Sills, that game,
this year.
we were the Walking Dead that game. Now, we all knew we were going to lose that game. I mean, come on. That was a whole team thing.
They shouldn't have got off the bus. That's a fair comment. Let me get to you, Mark.
Wait, let me just add one thing real quick here, because, see, there's a lot of games in here where your team has not been able to score a lot of points. And we can talk about the Tampa Bay where it was 33-16, or the Falcons that scored 22, or even the Saints where you only scored 15. You're not exactly a high-scoring offense with a lot of these teams. Sure, you did it with the Bengals, but the Bengals have no defense. When you start playing some of these better teams in the playoffs and stuff, have some defense. Well, I'm going to say even Green Bay again.
Green Bay, okay,
Green
but
Bay,
listen what you're
Detroit.
saying.
Okay, let's
I
put
get
this
Detroit.
way.
I don't see any great teams, though, Mark, that they're going to run into in the NFC where they're going to have – here, I'll take that back. I don't see very many great quarterbacks are going to run into.
There's not a lot of great ones right here, right now. But you don't know who gets hot in the end.
So get this. They may potentially have to go through Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff to get to the Super Bowl, where over in the AFC side, if you're Josh Allen, you may have to go through Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl. That's a whole different world, dude. Okay, so the Eagles' road to the Super Bowl is way easier, in my opinion. Now, look, I think Detroit and Philly, if you're going to put the rosters, probably have the two best rosters in the league. But I would say this. I mean, the passing game for one of them is suspect, and the other one, the defensive secondary for the Lions, is questionable because they're 28th or 29th. A good passing team could eat that team up. You saw what the Bears did to them on Turkey Day, too. So, again, I think a lot of teams have some flaws here in this. But if you put it all together here, you know, the only area that the Philadelphia Eagles struggle in my opinion, is the passing game. Philly doesn't think it's a struggle. He thinks that they're just rolling down their identity. And they're not, and they can pull that out. Am I wrong, Philly? I don't want to speak for you. And they can pull that passing game out when they need it. That's what you're saying. Even though in 2 years, they haven't done that.
That is my theory.
Okay.
I believe that.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me ask you this, Mark. Dak Prescott came out today and endorsed Mike McCarthy as the head coach and wants him to come back. Good idea or bad idea?
You know, when I start looking around the NFL and we see all the hot coordinators that were hired, like, you know, Miami's coach and things like that, and you look at that and say, damn, they really failed. You know, that you at least have a known quantity. The thing with Mike McCarthy is if we had the Philadelphia Eagles team and we're not making the playoffs, by all means, I say get rid of the guy. But you can't honestly look and say that the Cowboys literally put the best effort forward. As you guys joke, Rico who? Zeke Elliott? We have no semblance of a running game. We have, you know, one of the youngest teams in the NFL. So I'm not sure that Mike McCarthy got exactly a fair hand to deal with here. And I don't care what you say about the playoffs. Winning 12 games in the NFL is not an easy thing to do.
You're 41-26 to this point over the last 4 years and 12 games. Or 3 years, 12 games going in. You're 41-26. Are you going to fire McCarthy and look for someone else? Like reportedly that they're interested in some other guys, but there's also a conversation about a contract extension for McCarthy. Mm-hmm. Would you give him one?
In the end, what you have to realize is it doesn't matter if you bring back Mike McCarthy or if you bring in somebody else. As long as Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones are penny pitching and saying, we can't afford this, we can't afford that. Other teams, they look and they say, go get me that guy. It's the front office job to figure out how we can go get that guy. And we're not that team that does that. We'd say, we can lose 9 starters, we'll fill it up with the draft. It doesn't work.
Do you give him an extension, yay or nay?
I think you do.
All right. All right.
Because
how many wins?
Well, here's the thing I look at right now, okay? You can look at other teams right now that are losing and not having any success, and they start turning against the coach. Say what you will about the Cowboys, they are playing hard, trying to win right now. That means the coach has their support. And I think that you look at that and say, yeah, that should go a long ways with what you have. And if you're Dak Prescott, you don't necessarily want to change the system that you're in, that you're comfortable with. You figure, I've only got a few more years left. I really want to win a Super Bowl. If I can get Jerry Jones to go in and buy in and say, let's spend that $100 million we're going to have next year on some free agents and keep some cohesiveness, maybe you got a chance.
How about this, Philly? Brian Westbrook was just on, and he didn't give Nick Sirianni a gigantic ringing endorsement. He says, look, he's been able to stay out of the way since the bye. He gives him kudos for that. He goes, if he makes another bonehead decision in Carolina, then we'll have another conversation about it. And I'm paraphrasing what he said, but, you know, I asked him, why is it so that half of Philly loves him, half of Philly hates him? Here's a guy with a 44-19 record with an NFC championship. And this weekend, most likely, the Eagles are going to punch their ticket to the postseason for the 4th time under him. Why is half the fan base still to this day want this guy fired and do not trust this guy? Do you trust this guy?
Oh boy, I have to concur with Brian Westbrook. I kind of on the fence. I don't. I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't trust him in certain situations.
Philly, it's impressive though. Do you agree? 44-19. I mean,
it is, and that's why I always feel bad when I have to say anything negative to him because they've won so much. But Barry Switzer won a Super Bowl. And I didn't think I didn't think he was the greatest coach that year. I'll put it that way. So I feel like he's really, really talented team they have. And I don't want to say Nick has done a horrible job. He hasn't. There's just certain situations that like certain calls I just don't understand what he's doing. And I think it's fair to criticize him when he makes a boneheaded call. I think the fans that protect him, he's won and he's taken your team to a Super Bowl. So I understand their perspective. But, I mean, some of the calls, like, there's just been calls that are just so
in the last game.
Atrocious.
Even in the last game, there were some suspect calls that he had that, the team was so – I mean, Barkley's so dominant that it's kind of hiding it a little bit. And you're 44-19. All right. Finally here for you, Mark, this weekend, you guys have got a big one here. You've got Cincinnati. This is a game here. You're going to be going. By the way, Joe Burrow is having an iconic season.
Incredible.
He may throw for 50 touchdowns. The Eagles shut that guy down after the first drive and did a really nice job on Jamar Chase and also on Joe Burrow after the first drive. You guys got a pass rush. You're getting some people back defensively. Do you take this game home? Because this is it. You don't win this game,
then it's
the
over.
opportunity at the playoffs, it's over.
This is do or die. We've had such a struggle at home. I'm not ready to go ahead and say we're back because we beat the Giants. Our offensive line played better, against Dexter Lawrence and everything else. It's going to be tough. But you know what? Again, maybe, just maybe, the football gods say, yeah, you get a win.
That'd be 6-7 heading in to the Buccaneer game, I believe. So, I mean, all right, Philly, 13-point favorites. How do you fight off coming off the game against Carolina, or against the Ravens, not playing down to your competition, which they haven't? I mean, I don't think after the first 4 games, I think they kind of wobbled in that aspect. I don't think they have since they came out of the bye. But Carolina does nothing well. I mean, there is nothing. They've played better over the last 4 weeks. They've done nothing well. How do you fight off not getting complacent? Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think you got Pittsburgh on the other side of this, where you got the Steelers who are still fighting in the AFC to get home field advantage themselves. How do you fight complacency going into this?
I mean, I would say start by running the ball early. I mean, let's get Barkley involved early, because Barkley at 70% is going to be better than anybody that the Panthers throw out there. But I also think a lot of it, this game on Thursday, the Packers and the Lions,
huge.
This is humongous for the Eagles, because the Eagles specifically need for tiebreaker for Green Bay to beat the Lions for winning percentage against common opponents, or whatever it's called. So if let's say the Packers win, I mean, the Eagles could take the number 1 seed. I mean, I would think that they would be pretty fired up for that. I'm not really worried about them taking this team lightly. Like you said, they haven't done that. And that's one of the things about Nick Sirianni you got to give him credit for. I think he always has these guys ready to go and ready to play. So I think it'll be fine.
But by the way, I know the Cowboys are in a bye. Their next game is on the 9th. Am I right, Mark? They play on the 9th, the next game?
Yeah, they play Monday night.
Monday night.
It's not really a bye. I mean, we played Thursday, so
yeah. I got it. That's right. You had that Thanksgiving. You had that Thanksgiving deal. That's right. All right, guys, I can't thank you enough, man. I mean,
thank you, my man.
Hey, Billy, 15-2.
Why not? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think there's anybody on the schedule that really worries me. I think they should be able to run through it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm not trying to say that bragging, but if the Eagles are ready and take care of business, I think they win. I think they can win every game. So yeah, there's a chance.
There you go, Mark. 15-2. How's that taste? Hey, do you two guys have any bets at the end of the year here? Did you make any bets whatsoever
between each other? No.
Yeah.
No. I don't think we did this year. No.
God,
no.
you're
Mark
lucky,
got off
dude.
the hook. Mark is very lucky.
Hey,
no,
you got that shit right.
You bet, guys. Thank you guys so much. Make
Thank
sure
you.
you check them out on BetUS as well. Thank you guys again. We appreciate it. Make sure you check out their fabulous channels. Good luck this weekend, Mark. I hope you win,
We're
man.
gonna need it.
Make it interesting, at least heading into that next Cowboy game. I appreciate it. Thank you, Philly. Thanks a lot,
Thank
brother.
you, my man. Peace.
You got it. All right. Guys, real cool. Make sure you please hit the like button. Don't forget our great friends at BetUS. We have teamed up with our friends at BetUS here at JAKIB Sports. Make sure you go right now to the website. And don't forget the YouTube 150 Bad Dogs. That's right. Your first deposit up to $2K, you get an opportunity to have a sign-up bonus. And the next, second, and third go to 125%. As simple as that. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7. Personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Sills National Football Show. Appreciate everybody. Please do me a favor. Give me a number on the likes. I just saw this here with Prince. Sills, you said we wouldn't beat Lamar, Burrow, Stafford, Jordan Love. I'd start my football team with any one of those guys over Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels without even thinking about it. I wouldn't even begin to think about it. Lamar doesn't need superstar talent around him to win games. Burrow is an elite passer. Stafford's an elite passer. Love doesn't have superstar players around him. Nothing like they have in Philly. Jaden Daniels is a rookie, and he's better of a passer. I would take every one of those guys over him. And I completely disagree. You put Jalen Hurts on the Cowboys, they got the same record. Okay? I love him too, man. You know why? Prince is awesome and one of my favorite people. Along with you too, Yale. But Yale, let me be fair to Hurts here in a second. Okay? Get this. No, Saquon Barkley beat them. To be fair, Yale, Hurts fits exactly what they want to do. They want to run the offense through the running. They're not, hey, Yale, will you tell these people, do you really believe that the Eagles are running their offense through the quarterback? Do you think Green Bay runs their offense through Jordan Love? Do you think they run the offense through Josh Allen in Buffalo? Do they run the offense through Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City? Do they run the offense through Lamar Jackson in Baltimore? Yes. Hurts is a mailman. He's a mailman. And you heard Brian Westbrook. Hey, man, that old line is as good as it gets. By the way, Yale, Hurts has done basically a little. Hey, Yale, would you think this is your. Someone goes like this. Okay, what's your point? Well, Troy Aikman, Yale, he could have been a dick and been like Dan Marino, a dick, and wanted to throw the ball for 500 yards every game and never win a championship and win a ton of games. Dan Marino won a lot of games, but he never won any game that mattered except one because he didn't want to have a balanced attack. And Dan Marino's considered the greatest passer in the history of the league. But Dan didn't want to have and succumb to playing in a system. Hurts plays in a system. There's nothing wrong with winning games and playing in a system. Nothing. Yeah, I love Aikman. But his ego, dude, would you agree, Yale? The stars of the Cowboys were Emmett and Irvin and the O-line. Okay? Troy was just a guy that kind of kept everything together. Before the collapse, Sills, who did the offense run through? Went through Hurts. From the start to the end. I know you want to tell half the story. But Hurts was third in turnovers by the end of the year. He wants to just tell you the good and don't want to tell you what happened to the whole fucking season and the playoff game where they got annihilated. Prince wants to just go, hey, for the first 10 games, like now, right? The first 10 games, like you want to take credit for the first 10 games now and not talk about again the whole season. I see. Is that not what Brady did? He was the sixth pick, or he's a sixth-round pick. Tom Brady was checkdowns, pre-snap reads, and are you? What do you? Hey, JD, what are you saying? What is the one thing Hurts does that looks anything like Brady when it comes to his skill set in the pocket? What does he do? Is he as accurate? No. Jalen throws a better deep ball. So Brady wasn't a deep throw passer. Hurts retired Brady. Yeah, with 7 rings. What a fucking asshole comment. 7 rings, the winningest player in the history of the sport in postseason play, and he was 45 years old. Congratulations. You beat a guy in a rocking chair. Congratulations. Hurts opens up the run because teams fear what we do in the RPO. That's new again. Do you know what they've done to the offense? The Eagles now are running the RPO at 20% more than any team in the league. 22% of their offense is now RPO offense. You know what that means? Hurts doesn't have to read secondaries any longer. Okay? No. This is where this is not true. Brady played in the Brady system. It was tailored for him. There's 32 systems. Brady's a system quarterback. That was tailored for him. They made that for him. Peyton Manning had a system. That was for him. Aaron Rodgers had a system. Jalen Hurts has one. Brock Purdy has one. There's 32 quarterbacks that you have to build a system to fit their skill set. Yes. But they're one of. That's why Kyle Shanahan tries to find somebody who duplicates and replicates the type of skill set so they can plug another guy in from Garoppolo to Purdy. Okay? That's why Trey Lance, when he was put in that system, couldn't do it. He didn't have the skill set to do it. So when you say Brady was a system quarterback, yeah. You think Baker Mayfield or Tom Brady or anybody could run the Brady offense? That means you would have to be the greatest progression reader and pre-snap guy in the history of the sport. And he's not. That's why they're running RPOs again. Okay? That's right. Chase Daniel, I posted it on my Twitter page. Shows you how wide open everyone is. Well, Hurts is not looking at that any longer. He's not looking at it. He's looking at the reading of the RPO, whether to keep it or give it to Barkley. You see A.J. Brown on that slant. He's open every play. But Jalen doesn't throw it when you run the RPO. There's like 5 plays that Chase Daniel pointed out. Now that they implement that again, and they put that in there, he's pointed out, he doesn't have to read defenses any longer. That's not what they're doing. That's okay. Remember what I told you. If you want to play Jalen Hurts like 2022 Jalen Hurts, you're going to win. Yeah. Have I not said this for 2 years? If you want to put Jalen Hurts back in that room of 2022, okay, and you want to have that RPO offense in there, I thought he was brilliant when he ran those RPOs against Baltimore. I thought he was brilliant. I think the touchdown pass to Goddard came off of one of those. Really, it's a simplistic offense. They're not really going to, in any way, shock you in what they're doing. They're very predictable. The only problem is Barkley makes it predictable but unstoppable. Hey, just because you know where it's going doesn't mean you can stop it. You know, when Nick Bosa was making those comments, last year you could stop it. This year, Barkley, you can't. That's a true comment. D, yes. Yes. Running a successful RPO is a skill set of its own. No doubt about it. It's a great take. If you are running that and you're seeing more of that, and you are, you really, here's something to think about. Guys, you're never going to compare Jalen Hurts to any traditional quarterback in pro football. Even Lamar. You're just not. Okay? You're just not. People knock Brady because he dinked and dunked. Is it a knock on quarterbacks who pass like that rather than throwing the deep ball? No. Patrick Mahomes does that. Hey, Josh, just so you know, when people say to me, and even Merrill, who we love, and there's no Merrill Reese bad vibes here ever, okay? Just because Jalen Hurts throws a great deep pass that's not a remedy for success in the NFL. The successful guys in the NFL are the guys who dink and dunk. Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, they dink and dunk. They're not throwing deep passes. They're not lateral passers. They're intermediate slant passers. Foles won a Super Bowl RPO against Brady. Dude, Jalen Hurts is nowhere the passer that Nick Foles was. Nick Foles was a great passer. He just wasn't consistent. I mean, year he had 26 touchdown passes and 2 picks. Guy made a Pro Bowl throwing a football. He could throw for 390 yards. So your take on Hurts is based on preference, not results. No, it is based on results. I mean, RPO quarterbacks don't win Super Bowls. I mean, Bob, and remember something. When you say Young led the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns. He had 35 that year. RPO would be successful offense if the quarterback could consistently outrun 340-pound linemen. Hurts runs in slow motion. Mother effort, just get upfield. I think he runs well, Brian. I do. I think he's got a good skill set. I do. He threw 8 touchdowns against the Raiders in one game. Yeah, I know. Foles had the craziest career of all time. Yale. At times you look at him, you watch him, and you're like, shit, he's good. At times you go, what the hell is that? Okay? What the hell was that? Xander, did I miss a super chat with Abe? Abe may have had a super chat I may have missed. I don't know. If I did, Abe, do me a favor, Abe. Golf versus Jalen Hurts, first 5 years. Both have 2 Pro Bowls. Jalen has an All-Pro. Hurts 55. And he of course, left out the touchdown passes. Hurts 39. Golf with 42 and 27. Of course, he left off all the touchdown passes and all the yards and all the wins they had. Dude, Jared Goff's a better passer than Jalen Hurts. Okay? Mahomes and Brady only dink and dunk because, yeah, there you go, D, of the wide receiver talent when both of them had Hill and Moss, they threw deep balls. That's right. Think about it. I mean, he won Super Bowls with Amendola and Edelman. Okay? Those guys, I mean, of course, he left out the Super Bowls. Or, of course, he left out the touchdown passes that Goff threw in those first 5. Okay? I mean, or those first 4. I mean, it's convenient that you would do that. Here. 28-32, 22-20. And he got hurt in one of those years. 4,788, 4,738, 4,052, 44-38. Come on, dog. What are you talking about? Do the Eagles re-sign Jalen Hurts when it comes time if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, or do they move off of him to draft a rookie? Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Well, Jesus, dude. Let me ask you this. It's a good take. It's a great take. Hi, Dan. I'm Mark at MOD. I'll be sending an email to you, JAKIB Sports. It's critical. Thank you and great show. Thank you. Let's do this. Last 3 years, 14-3, 11-6, Let's say 15-2. That's 40-11. He'll go in the regular season. If they don't win a Super Bowl after this year, then they go 14-3 again. That's 54-14. What do you do? That's what you're doing. And they haven't won a Super Bowl in 1, 2, 3, 4 years. Rookie year, you don't count. Okay? What do you do? This is what I say to cancel culture. Fuck you. Eat a dick. What do you do? It's surely a lot of wins. All right. Let's get to Nick. Let's get to Nick here and what Nick said today. I got to hand it to Eagles just signed a fullback, I formation, wishbone. That tells you what they're doing. They're doing a little bit with Bob. They signed a fullback. You know why? They're starting to do more what Baltimore does with a fullback. And they're not going to utilize the third wide receiver. And they're taking plays away from Dotson. They're taking out that player. And they traded a third rounder for him. Is it good for the offense? Yes. But it's an indictment on the failure of Dotson because he hasn't produced at the third wide receiver. They're moving off of that position to create more of an opportunity for Barkley and Hurts to have that fullback and another big body back there. It's not an indictment on Jalen. It's an indictment on Dotson not being able. Dude, thank you for the super chat. This is for everybody to read. Jared Goff is a better passer than Jalen Hurts. Plain and simple. Better passer. He's been a better passer his entire career. I don't care what you say, Abe. He's a better passer. Thank you for the super chat. Here's what Nick said. By the way, Abe, thank you. He was talked about the style of play. Okay? I'm a mo to invest in a channel. We don't need an email, Sills and Xander. What's going on? Abe, I owe you this. My point, Sills, is that you're comparing someone who has more years and experience than Hurts. Third year, he went to the Super Bowl. The third wide receiver gets 5 targets a game. Forrest, I think that's why they're bringing in a fullback now more. Okay? So was somebody trying to cancel me again? My entire career. Somebody will come up with something. Okay? Oh, no, they're trying to cancel Twiz. Oh, well, shit, I'm going to defend Twiz. Twiz, you're not getting canceled. This is cancel-free universe. Prince, by the way, let me say this to you. I will talk the biggest shit to every single person in this room, including Twiz and everyone in here and Prince. But if anybody tries fucking with any of you, I got you. Okay? I got you, Twiz. Don't you ever worry about that, brother. You can get canceled anywhere else. Nobody's going to be canceling any of our people that come here and spend their freaking day here for 4 hours with me. You don't think I get your back? Senior too. Do you think I wouldn't get your bet? Okay. Okay. Look at this guy. And I actually like this piece of shit. Okay. And I would defend him. I abstain. I can't use those words, Twiz. My aunt watches. I could say a lot of things, but Twiz, my aunt watches, and my daughter will occasionally log on, and what's one word that I cannot use, and I will not use. Okay, even you, Real. Yes, even you. Okay. Hey, I abstain from that word. I'm not allowed to use that word with a wife and a daughter and Ann, who's on my ass all the time. She hates my language now. That word will not be touched. I have to abstain from that one. Sorry, man. I can't use that. Both are great passers, but Goff is way better as strictly a passing quarterback. Jalen's a better athlete. Yes. But if Goff and Jalen had the same team and could only pass the ball, Goff is superior. Yes. Okay, but by the way, too, Dirty, they got two 1,300-yard backs up there in Detroit right now. The running game in Detroit is just as effective as the running game in Philly. And they got the two best lines. Isn't it funny? The two best offensive lines may face each other in the NFC title game. I don't believe there's a coincidence to that. Okay? Just stop using that word, please. My aunt watches the gosh dang show. Okay, please. Can't have it. All right. He was asked about a physical football team and being physical. And he says that comes down to the personnel. Let me see something here and go over to the Eagles. And I'll tell you who's physical. Jalen Hurts. Is he physical? Yes. Barkley. Yes. AJ. Yes. Devontae. Yes. Dotson. No. That's why they got a fullback. Goddard. Yes. Mulata. Yes. Dickerson. Yes. Jurgens. Yes. Becton. Yes. Lane. There's only one dude on that offense that's not physical. You know who it is? It's Dotson. You got 10 dudes that will knock your head off. Okay? You got 10 dudes that will knock your head off. Defense. So you got 10 starters, I would say, are totally physical. Milton. Yeah. Jordan Davis. I guess so. Yes. Carter for sure. Nolan Smith, no. Zach Bond, yes. N'Kobe, yeah. Okay. I hate saying that, but yeah. Sweat, yes. Quinyon Mitchell, yes. CJ, yes. Reed, yes. This is really cool. Slay, yeah. Cooper, yeah. Dude, you got 20 guys. You got 20 guys out of 22 starters that are physical. They built the football team based on toughness. Okay? 20 TDs by way of wishbone. Hey, let me ask you something, Steve. Let me ask you something, Stevie. Does Jalen Hurts have more rushing touchdowns this year than he has passing touchdowns? My number on it is yes. Let's see where Jalen is right now. Hold on here for a second. Let's see where Jalen is. Let's see here. Jalen Hurts. He's got 14 rushing. He's got 14 passing touchdowns right now. How many rushing touchdowns does he have? He's got 12. Damn. That's going to be a race. Can you imagine if you see some shit like this at the end of the year? Get this. Okay. Well, get this. Jalen Hurts, 3,400 passing yards, 18 passing touchdowns, and 23 rushing touchdowns. Fuck. Like an old Big 8 quarterback. Yeah. Hey, Yale. What's that guy's name that played back at Nebraska that won those national titles back-to-back for Osborne? What's the guy's name? Tommy Frazier. Jalen Hurts, the next Tommy Frazier. Yeah. None of this happens without a front office blessing. Writing on the wall, it was already recognized. Saquon signing, complete 180 and play calling after the buy RPOs, fullback signing. Nick's a mouthpiece, clairvoyant. Yeah. Right here is exactly what happened. After the buy. 180 in play calling. Saquon Barkley, RPOs, signing of a fullback. Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit, this Rhonda chick just caused all kinds of shit in here. Hey, by the way, Rhonda, I'm a fan of that. Oh, geez. Rhonda has become a YouTube member. Hey, Rhonda, I like people who stir the pot. Hey, people got to take people got to take shots in here. I take shots. My boy Prince. Can I tell you the only reason I think Prince likes me kind of today? Wait a minute, Prince. Prince, tell me this. The only reason he kind of likes me today is because he must be a Westbrook fan. Because today he's been kind of nice to me. And I would say that the only reason he likes me today is because he liked Westbrook coming in. Am I a little bit right? Okay? Click the button to become a JAKIB member and get a chance to win Saquon Barkley jersey if he reaches 125 yards in a season. Only members are eligible to win. Stop it. I always like you, Sills. Yeah. So is Rhonda a football fan or just a shit storer? Is that what you are? So, Rhonda, what's your beef in here? You got a problem with Twiz. Big Sills is here to psychoanalyze things for all of us in here. Is there a problem, Rhonda, and you and Twiz that we have to air out? Stu, help me out on this. Wait a minute. Okay? So wait a minute here. Rhonda, help me out here. What's the beef? And Twiz, what's the beef? I am now the mediator in what looks like a dispute. So we have an issue in here. I'm here to help. Jacob's here to help. Sue's not the moderator. Big Sills is. Okay? She's Mark Holmes. I almost Ron Burgundied it. Messiah. Yes. I'm a therapist. I do it for 4 hours a day. I'm here for you, Messiah. I'm here for all. Now, some would say that I'm a professional shitstorm starter. Sure. That's what Xander calls me. a professional shitstorm starter. I incite a riot. That's what Rick Riley said about me. Wrote in Sports Illustrated. Mouth of the South. Big Sills can incite a riot. I have numerous times. We might stick together, Sills. Oh. Rana and Twiz got to settle it in an Oklahoma drill. Oof. Loser, take a lap. Look at you bringing back the Oklahoma drill. Brian must have been in one of them. You know what had always happened to me, Brian, in that Oklahoma drill? For whatever reason, whether I was in junior high school, college, the pros, I always had my coach call me out. I always won them fuckers. I was great at it. And here's an Oklahoma drill. You get an O lineman and a D lineman. You got a fullback. That's an old school one, and a running back. And what you got to do is you got to beat the guy in front of you, beat the fullback, and make a tackle inside the backs. I used to win that bitch every time. Every time. I was king at it. You just throw the guy. It's really not a football, like you don't play like that in a game. You just throw him. Boom. Bang, lift him. We used to run that shit at Miami all the time. We used to run that Oklahoma drill. We used to finish the practice with them Oklahoma drills. I liked it. They would never run those today. Today's culture, you don't run Oklahoma because that's a drill that would make one lesser than the other person. My comment would be this. Football's not a democratic sport. You're either a lion or you're an otter. Okay? You're a lion or you're an otter. All right? Holy shit. Look at this. Xander is now friends with Rhonda. Okay. Rhonda's now become a member. Jesus, we're now getting all kinds of chicks and dudes, and this is just growing. This is weird, man. I don't know. I've never had people hate me and like me at the same time as much as what we're doing now. Okay? I love all members. Y'all can't make me hate Rhonda. Still's loving this shit. Today we can't do Oklahoma's. You send an email to JAKIB and say it's critical. Ooh. Ah. Sills is loving this shit. Okay. Come on, guys. 50 more likes. Go. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Therapist, yes. When I think of Dan Sileo, the first thing that comes to mind, calm and cool, neutral, yes. Right, not in a million years. Okay, Charlie. Easy. When I think of Sileo, first thing that comes to mind is therapist. Calm, cool, neutral. Oh, man, I don't think I've ever been neutral in anything in my entire life. Remember, Pat's coming up right after. Rhonda, the big dog, has entered the chat, baby. Who is this Rhonda? It's like Rhonda Big Dog. I like it. Rhonda, make sure to bring your ass. Wait, wasn't Ron the name of this channel at one time? Was Ron? Xander is a spoiled brat. LOL. Penn State all day. Fuck Bama. This guy's such a woman. Dick Track is he's such a woman. When the moon hits your eye like a bigger pizza pie, that's amore. Yeah. No, man. I'm cooking. All hurts. This is fucking great. Are the Canes making the playoffs? Yeah, they gave it to that stiff Alabama program who had shitty losses to Oklahoma and got run off the map by a school that builds bombs and debate teams at Vanderbilt. Who the fuck loses to Vanderbilt? I mean, how'd they make the playoffs? Who the fuck else they lose to? They lose Ole Miss? Holy shit. Shit, at least Miami lost to 2 teams with 8 wins. They lost to a 6-6 Oklahoma team. Holy cow. They got crushed by him, too. Good grief. Another Big C win over Big Sills. Bam over Miami. This dude is struggling. Big Sills never freaking struggles. I haven't struggled for anything in my life except, you know what? Keeping some of you people off my ass. It's a big bad meanie. He's a big bad meanie. For the record, Steve Young wasn't the only quarterback with 5 rushing touchdowns. Are you telling me that you think John Elway, for the record, is an RPO guy like fucking Jalen Hurts? You're high. He's one of the greatest passers in history. How about my hometown Cuse? Largest comeback in school history. Thanks, Miami. Syracuse. I'll tell you a story, D, about Syracuse recruiting Big Sills. There was a guy by the name of Norm Gerber. Did you have a guy up there named McPherson who was the head coach? His name was McPherson, right? And I think I've told some of you guys this story. So Syracuse was recruiting me pretty heavily. I took a trip, and I went up there. And this guy, Norm Gerber, man, he was all over my ass, recruiting my ass. He was like, my driveway, came in my house, the whole deal. And Dick McPherson, that's it. Dick McPherson was the head coach, came into my house. I liked my trip there. I took a trip to Syracuse. I liked the campus. It wasn't far from my home in Stamford, Connecticut. I liked it. It's cool. Hit the like button, guys, please. And I went on my recruiting trip. So I go up there, come back home. Norm Gerber goes like this. Hey, Dirty D, we're going to give you number 44. I went, come on. You ain't giving me 44. Because I was a linebacker edge rusher and a center in high school. And the guy goes, we'll give you 44. I'm like, man, you can't give me Jim Brown's number. You're going to give me Jim Brown's number. He goes, yeah, it's yours. Jim Brown, you get number 44. Yeah, they're called the Orangemen, yell. And I was like this, how many people you promised 44 to? He goes, 25 people. I said, hey, okay, I'm going to take another trip up there, and all good. We'll take another trip. Okay. Give me 44. I'm on a recruiting trip. I go back up. I told Coach McPherson, I think I was going to go, hey, and the other guy, the Boston, the schools that recruited me were Pitt, Coach Fazio, Penn State, Paterno, the Notre Dame coach, Jerry Fouts, McPherson, Syracuse, Bicknell, BC, and Yale. Who was the coach at Ohio State? Earl Bruce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are my 6. Those are my 6 visits. Pitt, Penn State, Notre Dame, Boston College, Syracuse, and Ohio State. Those were my visits. I'm ready for this email. I love hate emails. Twiz, chillin', man. Hope things are going good for you. Holy cow. Twiz must be in trouble. Big Sills, a.k.a. Mr. 305. I love Miami. You're going to learn today, Rhonda. Oh, wow. Boy. This chat's on fire. Rhonda ran. What is Sills' boss's email? I need to send a great email for this great host. You could turn that email sideways and stick it straight up your candy. Oh, man. This isn't going anywhere. Sills is Cuban, not Italian. She won't wear red shoes for me. Dan Sileo, Miami Hurricanes, trash, no playoffs. Twiz is such a bitch. He ran as soon as I don't know if you want to put that in that phrasing there, flexing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, flexing. I don't know if you want to go in that phrasing there. Uh-oh. I'll show it tomorrow, Zeal. I got a feeling no email is coming. Messiah, love this show. First time I caught it live in a while. Well, Messiah, what's happened is that our viewers have taken over the show because once I told them that I needed them to grow the bitch, now they know that they're the boss. I'm not the boss. I'm just a shit talker. Okay? I'm just a shit talker. So I do my best to get people like Brian Westbrook, Tony Dungy. Do you realize in the last name me Xander? Name me a show like this in the last 2 weeks that had on Tony Dungy, Jimmy Johnson, and Brian Westbrook. In the last 7 days. Can you? Hey, dude, I get Shannon and some of these other guys. This is little old Dan with little old JAKIB. Look at this guy here. Yeah, the interviews have been solid. My favorite. We crucified Donovan at every turn while this dude Hurts needs his coach to stay. That's a great topic for tomorrow, Brian. That's a great topic. I am going to write that down. Why is it that McNabb was murdered by the media and Hurts gets a pass for not being a passer? That's a great topic. McNabb versus Hurts. Hey, and Brian, get this. He had nowhere near the talent that Jalen has around him. Nowhere near the talent. That's a great line. I bet Pumper's lips be dry. Oh, look at this, man. He getting bright. What? McNabb didn't have the charisma. What charisma? You think Jalen Hurts is a personality? Get the personality of a rock. Hey, Dan, I meant not being neutral as a compliment. I get it. Dude, you're JAKIB. Don't ever change. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah, well, I used to think that I could do it by myself, but I can't. Back in the day, I used to go, this is all Sileo. Yeah, it's not really the truth. Put up Big Trag's profile again. You mean Donovan McNabb? Yeah. Whoa. I think Plumper. Hey, Plumper. They didn't give McNabb a pass, did they? They booed him when they drafted him. Right? They booed him. They booed him. McNabb had a stronger arm, but no way is he more accurate. That's ridiculous. You're trying to tell me you think that Jalen Hurts is a better passer than Donovan McNabb. Dude, you're out of your mind. Donovan McNabb is close to being a Hall of Fame football player. No freaking way. McNabb, 31 touchdowns, 8 picks, 38.75. 59% completion percentage. His touchdowns to interceptions, though, 234 to 117. He was 98 and 62 in his first 4 years. $32 and 17. Plus, he didn't have anybody on that. Who were his wide receivers? I can't name you a wide receiver. Who, FedEx? Who else? Who did they have that were on 2000 outside? Not the TO year either. Who did McNabb have to throw the ball to? Let's just pick a year. 2006. Dude, McNabb had nobody. Reggie Brown, who's that? James Thrash? Okay. Yeah, he had T.O. for 1 year. So what? Dude, Donovan McNabb had none of that. He didn't have any of these people. McNabb, yeah. Westbrook was on that team. And here's receiving. Westbrook led the team in receptions. Here's who he threw to. Brian Westbrook, L.J. Smith, Reggie Brown, Dante Stallworth, and Greg Lewis, and Correll Buckholter. Who the hell are those guys outside of Brian? This guy's throwing to elite players. And Brian, you're right. And they took a gigantic shit all over McNabb. Hey, that's a great topic. I'm going to hit on that a little more, do a little more research. Okay? Buckholter. Okay. Hey, guys, you guys have been great. We appreciate it. Make sure you stay tuned for Pat. Great stuff that Pat has each and every single week. I'm sure Sal Palantonio is going to be there with him. Sal Pal does a great job on that program as well. We so appreciate you guys. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit the like button. Till tomorrow, 2 to 6. Joe, Xander, thank you guys very much. We'll see you on the flip side.